Yo. Yo. Okay, so there was no police presence. There was no police presence today.
Yeah, neither did I. I hate spicy food. And you know what? I hate it more now.
My tents are burning!
Dude, it was burning my tents.
So I'm gonna keep this going for a little bit. This was a flag wave out here today in downtown Portland, Oregon, Justice Center. Patriots came down to wave flag, and from get-go, there was things happening. There was a couple scuffles, and some physical, some tension going on from both sides. And then Patriots, I thought the event was scheduled for 2 hours, but the Patriots decided to leave, and as they left, people started following them. Bear spray was used. Bear spray was used. Bear spray was used. The paintballs. And now people are waiting over there for them to come out and get the license plates. Who knows, they might attack their cars. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see. They're waiting for cars to come out. That's what they're waiting for cars to come out. For what it is. We're waiting for the cars. We'll see what happens next.
They call it
They're probably not going to let them leave.
What is that? What do you got?
You gonna fucking blow me more kisses? Huh?
What do you got in your hand?
Doesn't fucking matter what I have in my hand.
Well, it kind of looks like a weapon.
It's not a weapon. These are legal.
Okay.
Motherfucker.
Well, I'm gonna legally go about my way.
Then go about your fucking way. Go. 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 Fuck off.
That's fuck off!
I believe his name was Greg. It sounded like his name was.
Hey, don't forget to throw some likes on the video on your way in.
Up to him while he was on the bike. It looked. It was in his right hand. Yeah, that's why the guy on the bike was asking what he had in his hand. So there is your guys' entertainment for the day on a nice Saturday. On a nice Saturday.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah.
Say something to the audience. What was that about? Just the fact that you're trying to.
Well, I saw a man cross the street, and then he reached, and then he saw me. And I go over to his face, and then he reached, took his backpack off and reached inside of it and concealed whatever he was hiding. It would have been anything. So I saw, I think it was amazing.
Good night. It was nice.
This is the kind of thing. I mean, we show up to a peaceful protest, and then we try to leave, and then they chase us all over the city with weapons. And we're the police. I mean, I fought 20 years for freedom, and I can't have it in my own country. Just freedom to go around and wave a flag. What kind of world are we living in? And there's no conversation. There's no dialogue. It's just hate. And all we have is love. So I blew this guy a kiss, and he chased me down with a knife. That's the audience.
It doesn't seem very secure.
Well, all these people are pretty insecure with their beliefs, and rightfully so. Because their beliefs are untenable, and they won't have a conversation with you because they'll shut you down and call your names because they can't have an intelligent conversation. They can't understand a perspective other than their own, and they don't want to. And that's the real tragedy. But that's what free speech is all about, so we can find out what those differences are and come to some kind of peaceful conclusion. But this chasing patriots down the street with fucking weapons and mace and hatred, this is not a country I'm proud of. We need to work on this. And yeah, Black Lives Matter, of course, all lives matter. But where's the freedom? That's more important, because if you don't have freedom, what do you
the person.
It's frustrating.
What are your thoughts on the use of mace and pepper balls by
Can you
the
reach in and push the button on my battery pack?
Well, I mean, I think
Just
you
follow
have
the cord down.
a right and a responsibility
Oh,
to defend
no.
yourself.
Oh, never mind.
But I don't bring that stuff because I shouldn't have to defend myself. And if I get hurt, I guess that's God's will. But I'm not gonna come down here all geared up, ready to rumble. I'm gonna come down here ready for conversation.
Yeah.
And so we can have exchange of ideas and understand where the common ground is.
So how long have you been doing this? Coming down to these things?
About 4 years.
4 years? Have you been assaulted or hurt?
Oh, several times.
Anything
There's
serious?
a bit of hate crime. 2 guys tried to yank me off my bike, and I broke out their back window with my bike lock, thankfully, and the cops got them. But then, went to the Multnomah County, and nothing. They got community service, which none of them served. And there's a hate crime, 2 against 1, in a truck on a bike.
Yeah.
And then Luis Marquez, the leader of Antifa, assaulted me in the streets of Portland. 8-minute video of it. That goes to court. It gets dismissed.
How do you think all his stuff is getting dismissed, and how he's able to maintain this protesting? A lot of people are speaking on rumors that he might be being paid to do these things because it doesn't seem like he's got any legitimate income coming in, and he sure is out there a lot.
I don't know, that's for other people to investigate, but I mean, I'm not a dumb person and I can spot trends. I mean, he's here all the time and he's basically worthless, so where is he getting his money? It's a good question.
Can you describe what happened when the right person?
Okay. So I'm gonna check out because the fact that's someone else's interview. I'm not gonna. Hard, and I know other people do that. But. Yo. Good.
What about the black and black crime? When I told her the statistics that I read from the government statistics, OhioGovernment.com, everyone can go on that page. Everyone can look at those same statistics that I did, and they can see the same exact results that I did. And instead of looking at those, they'd rather just listen to the hearsay. You know what I'm saying? And that's a fun thing. You know why? Alright, you don't do shit. Yeah, but I'm not doing shit. I do shit. I did help people sit tight when they got fucking up the line. People don't like it. Because if people come together and have because guess what? It's okay for us to disagree about 5 things and agree on 5. But if we agree on these same 5 things and we disagree on, then we'll be a force to be reckoned with. And guess what? I'm sorry, and I hate to say it. And that's what, and I think that's been a problem from day one. The same way we're
I could tell today's gonna be a busy day.
I love y'all. Just became a law in 1968 or 64 that you could deny a person a loan, a house loan because of color of their skin. That's literally written in black and white. And then people say things like, oh, well, you had the same opportunity I did. But you didn't. Like, because my mom was born in 1964, which means that her grandfather and her grandmother, my dad lived in Little Rock, Arkansas, where the little girl got screamed, yelled at, and howled at for going into that same school with those white kids. And guess what? That grows on them. And those kids, just like those kids seen that hate, and they held that hate in their heart, the same way with those white people. My dad has said some things, and I'm like, Dad, you can't be calling people crackers, you can't be, you know what I mean? But you know what? And it's funny because then white people are the same way. There's white people and their children, they say things, and white people say things and their children don't agree with them. You know what I mean? Is that what it is? This is my family.
We're in the middle of either
This is my family, sir. I understand that, Ray. I understand that.
I like to say I heard what you're saying. I understand what you're saying because I grew up in my grandkids, black and white, they catch hell for it because they live in redneck down in Florida. Okay, so look, the problem with the police, most of the cops on the street is some of them are getting
I'm not explaining nothing to nobody today. I ain't got the energy to talk about their own racism.
It comes from the people we elect.
I agree.
We all elect. That's our common enemy. That's what we need to be shouting this shit at.
And that's why I say follow our page, because you know what? People assume that we're about things just like they said. I say
I'm gonna end it until George Floyd's nephew speak, and then once they start speaking, I'll go live again.
Ho ho, Bob Crow has got to go. Hey hey, ho ho, Bob Crow has got to go. Hey hey, ho ho. Bob Crow has got to go. Hold up, we want freedom, freedom. All these racist ass cops, we don't. Louder, hold up, we want.
Here's Leon Wang, who made the artistic renderings of these signs.
Louder, hold up, we want all these racist ass cops, we don't. Come on, hold up, we want all these racist ass cops, we don't. You were really curious about our talks over there. You can join the march if you want. Come on, you can stand for Black Lives Matter. You can join us if you want. You can jump in if you want. Come on down. Black lives, they matter. Here. I said 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 native 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 lives, they matter. Here. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no. Prosecute the. 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 No justice, no. Prosecute the police. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Control has got to go. Hey, hey.
Did you all make these? Would you all want to talk about it at all? A little bit? All right, what was the process of making these?
I mean, if you've ever been so angry you wanted to make a pinata, that's where I'm at. Like, I'm not here to just try and speak to the community, I'm just trying to amplify their voices. So it's not just Bob Kroll, it's also Liz Collin. Shit has to change.
Did you do both of them?
Yes.
And then you have some significations on. You have diaper on Bob Kroll. What else?
Well, I mean, the hood speaks for itself. I mean, just fuck them. Just absolutely fuck them. That's where I'm at.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We're meeting at Powder Horn Park tonight.
Yeah.
At 9 p.m. March at 10. We wear black.
Thank you.
If you want to promote that.
Do you want any?
Let's go on to the 5th precinct.
You want any media?
Yeah, please.
Live stream at all?
If you want to, just make sure you don't get any.
All right, I'll just probably video.
Just video it, and then I don't know what's gonna happen. We're just gonna drop on the system. But the 5th precinct is open. I just lead people to the crowd, and the crowd decides. So.
Do you want to say that on the live stream at all? That the action is happening tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to be filmed?
That's fine. Yeah. Okay. Well, when we get to a stop, or less.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So tonight at 9 o'clock, we're meeting at Powderhorn East Bank for a direct action march against the 5th precinct to let them know they have to protect themselves and they can't come after Floyd Square Park if they got to defend both their flanks. So today, we are marching at 10 o'clock onto the 5th precinct.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yep.
The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killing cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict.
Try to make sense out of this. 145th and 145th.
The whole damn system is guilty as
I guess one is circle and one is the street.
our streets. Our streets.
You see, there's a lot of security out here doing their thing. Bikers riding against police brutality are out here. Here's Louis Tran doing his thing. Liberation Lens Media. Louis also got a bunch of the footage yesterday from the eviction or the clearing of West Powderhorn Park. If you want to know more about that, check out our internet website, unicornriot.ninja. Check out our Facebooks and Twitters as well. Yeah. We got Darren here who's just did a piece on the felony charges being brought against Mike Forsha. Mike Forsha was an organizer that helped organize the toppling of the Christopher Columbus statue at the state capitol of Minnesota not too long ago, 2 months ago or so.
So when I say, how do you spell racist, y'all say MPD. How do you spell racist? How do you spell racist? How do you spell racist? MPD. 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 How do you spell Everybody spell racist! All right, so when I say do blue lives matter, y'all say that's not a thing. Do blue lives matter? 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 So when I say when will all lives matter, y'all say when black lives matter. When will all lives matter? 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 We're sick and tired. They need to be fired. They're sick and tired. They need to be fired. We're sick and tired. They need to be fired. We're sick and tired. They need to be fired. We're sick and tired. They need to be fired. We're sick and tired. They need to be fired. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Bob Kroll has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Mark down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're here. We're lit. We're taking over this shit. We're here. We're lit. We're taking over this shit. We're here. We're lit. We're taking over this shit. We're here. We're lit. We're taking over this shit. No cops. No KKK. No racist USA. No cops. No KKK. No racist USA. No cops. No KKK. No racist USA. If Phil Quinn don't get it, if Phil Quinn don't get it, if Phil Quinn don't get it, if Paul Castaway don't get it, if Paul don't get it, if Paul don't get it, whose land? Native land. Whose land? Whose land? Whose land? Whose street? Whose land? Whose street? Bob Kroll has got to go. I said Bob Kroll has got to go. Bob Kroll has got to go. I said 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 Bob Kroll has got to go. And you got Bob's number, right? Sitting in the lawn chair. Can you send that video to him? Can you send it to him? Can you text it to him right now? Can you please do that? Because you taping us. You must be taping us for a reason. No justice, no peace. Prosecute them. No justice, no. 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 Prosecute them. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Say what?
Ain't no power like the power of people, cause the
power of the people don't stop. Say what?
Ain't no power like the power of people, cause the power of people don't stop.
Say what?
Ain't no power like the power of people, cause the power of people don't stop.
Say what?
Ain't no power like the power of people, cause the power of people don't stop.
Say what?
Ain't no power like the power of
Security and cars are rolling behind the march. A lot of marshals out here. Got officers around. Washington County Sheriffs.
Native lives, they matter.
When we were walking in, Washington County Sheriff officer said that they watch our stream all the time. Ooh, there's a burnt down house. Must needed some insurance money over here. So. This is reminiscent of the uprising. Didn't think I'd see this in Hugo. Just heard somebody in the back say, Bob Kroll didn't stop this.
No guys, I'm sorry, this is not Portland, but I don't know where it is, so I haven't replaced all the titles and stuff. I'm not sure where this is.
We're a block away from the Police Federation president's house is this burnt down house. Hope everybody was okay. Nobody got hurt. We can replace property, but not people.
Make sure you tell everybody we didn't burn that shit down.
You didn't do that.
I did not do that. That was like that when we got here. That house we did not burn down.
Thank you.
It's Minneapolis. All right, thank you guys.
See most of these X's on the cars for Xing out Bob. So in early June, I think the 9th day of the uprising after the killing of George Floyd, there was an action outside of WCCO downtown. They went really long actually, it was a 5-hour action or so. And we were live for the whole thing. I bring that up because people were already protesting this same issue of Bob Kroll and Liz Collin and their relationship. And Liz Collin, again, is Bob Kroll's wife, but also an anchor for WCCO. Here's some of the neighbors that are just out watching. That one just waved. You hear the chant, this is what community looks like. See this sign sort of describes the scene here. Liz Collin and Bob Kroll, conflict of interest. Again, Liz Collin is the anchor on WCCO, mainstream local corporate news, and Bob Kroll is the head of the Minneapolis Police Federation. People again call that a conflict of interest. In early June, as I was talking about when we were covering the action outside of WCCO, some of the similar speeches were made, some of the similar sentiments were made, where people were calling for Liz Collin to be fired, people were calling for Bob Kroll to step down. People were talking about the art of the cover-up and the narration in the corporate news of how one a police victim. We got neighbors over there laughing. The big thing is the narration, you know, it's when a person gets killed by the police. They leave these cop cars running this whole time. They're really hot cars, jeez. Like literally you can feel the heat. There's some of the same gentlemen we talked to a little earlier. Looks like we did a full circle, maybe. Totally lost. They all look the same out here. We must be pulling up, yep. There's the police cameras.
So everybody pack in. Everybody pack in. We want to make sure everybody's safe. Do not get baited. Do not get baited. Do not get baited. Bring it in. Bring it in. We can cut the music too. We can cut the music. So, real quick, as you noticed, there was some neighbors out here that actually wanted to join.
You can keep your hand off. It's a photographer talking, and he's putting his hand on his gun.
But I saw some of the neighbors resistant to joining, even though they wanted to. Some of them did, but some of them looked a little bit afraid, and that's okay. Because
that's what I'm saying.
Take your hand away. This type of climate, this type of atmosphere breeds fear. It breeds fear. It makes people afraid to show up for Black lives. It makes people scared to show up for humanity. That's what this neighborhood is doing. But for the people in the neighborhood that showed up, we thank you. And like Marquis said, the Klan is very much so alive. They may not call themselves that. They may say, hey, we're just nationalists. Hey, we're just voting. Hey, we're just here for Bob Kroll. Hey, I'm just a guy just doing my job. That's still a staunch stance for racism. If you're not showing up for Black lives, you're on the other side of it. You gotta show up. You gotta start doing the work. And we thank the neighbors that did come out, because this is the type of neighborhood that feels like a sundown town. And if you don't know what a sundown town is, that means Black folks go home when the sun goes down because it's not safe. And we did this last week in Stillwater, and we're doing it here. This needs to keep happening in Minnesota. That prides itself on being progressive. That prides itself on being liberal. That prides itself on doing the work. When you look at it, this is what the work gets you. A white supremacist that has scared the city council, the governor, bullied everybody, and has unilateral power to scare the shit out of anybody in their seat and in their office, and including in this circle. And I also want to say something quickly, because I really love to pick up on what happens when we're out here, when we're aware of how people are acting. And they sound so upset. They sound so upset that we're here, that we disturbed their Saturday. But I
Let's get some likes on the videos, guys.
I even challenge Homeboy with the brown bulletproof.
HP Rogers out here getting some good shots.
I challenge everybody to come down to 38th and George Street. Come down. Come on down. And you will know that your Saturday may have gotten a little bit into a kerfuffle, or maybe a little bit interrupted. But you do not have the constant, the incessant pressure of cops rolling by your house day and night, of guns going off that have been aimed at Black and brown bodies all the time. This today was nothing. Your barbecue got interrupted a little bit. You get to shake your head. Once we leave, you get to tell all your kids the lies that your parents told you. But I will say this. Your mother knows better. She didn't want you to be like this. She wanted you to be in these streets with us. I can tell you that Bob Kroll's mama probably did not want him to do what he's done. Shot 4 people. Beat up a young 15-year-old biracial kid when he was handcuffed. I don't think anybody's mother wanted to raise their kid to do that. And for the cops here that are looking on, you need to ask yourself, did your mother want you to be here? Does your mother want you to wake up, put a gun on your kid, put a badge over your so-called heart, and come out here and try to police folks? Does your mother want you to do this? Is there a better way? Is there somewhere else you can be? Is there something bigger you can be doing? Is there somebody else you can be showing up for other than the white folks here that are not showing up for Black lives? Is there something else Hugo that are afraid and do feel fear, it's time to start showing up. It's time to start challenging. Because if black people can come from all the way out from the city to here, you can show up too. You can do it too. You can make it happen as well. And blue lives do not exist. It is a job. You can take off that bulletproof vest that is absolutely unnecessary, that the people of Hugo have overpaid for, because ain't nobody gonna shoot your ass. You can take it off right now, put the gun down, and you can join us. You can actually show up for black lives instead of eliminating them. You can actually be with Black Lives Matter instead of standing for white supremacists. You can do that right now. You can make that happen in your life. You can upgrade. You can get to the next level, brother. You don't have to shave your head like that all the time. You don't have to wear that haircut like that. You can actually let your hair out. You can do something. You can make it happen. You can do that right now. You can start showing love. Instead of showing up with a gun and a badge and spreading hate and spreading white supremacy. You can make that happen right now. And what we're here to do, this may interrupt your barbecue for a little bit, but Bob Cole comes to our town every fucking...
Alright, for all you new people, I am not the camera person. I'm the white dude in the lower right hand corner of the screen. Okay? I'm the broadcaster. I'm just bringing it to you so you guys can all check it out. I don't pick sides. None of these people speak for my beliefs. I believe Americans should be able to stand up for what they believe in as long as they do it legally and peacefully. And I'm pro-American rights. And that's it. So none of these people represent me or what I do. I'm just showing it to you guys. So stop giving my mods a hard time.
We're here because of... And you can shake your head back and forth all you want, because you're having a good time. But once we leave, it's going to go back to fantasy land for you, where there's no black people getting killed, where you're being misinformed by some type of American network that is run by Trump or funded by it. You're going to go back to fantasy land. But we will be back here. We will be back here. This isn't a one-time thing. So buckle up. Get the cabin ready in Duluth, because when we come back, you can leave. Or you can show up and march with us. You can do that. That's a real thing. But you need to know that we are here because of Bob Kroll. Because he comes to our city and terrorizes black people. Because he has given the pass to officers that have repeated accounts of beating people, of shooting at people, of stepping outside of their job. He gives them the pass.
All of you that are racist pieces of shits, just go ahead and write joggers in the chat right now so me and my mods can just take you out right now and get you out the way.
And educate us with your violence. We're going to come back here and educate you with our love. And I'll wrap up on this. For all of the youth that saw us marching out here, you don't got to be racist like your white parents. You don't have to follow their lead. You can shake your head with that Miller Lite and say, wow, but I know your parents tried to raise you better. I know they tried to raise you better. You followed in the footsteps of your racist-ass parents, but your kids don't have to. They don't have to. They don't have to be a bigot like you. For the youth in this circle, in this cul-de-sac, this is not reality. This is not reality. This is white supremacy. This is where it's defended. This is where it's celebrated. And this is when black bodies show up. People want to push us away. But we're not going anywhere. We're going to come back. So the Washington County Sheriff's Office, get ready. And you may want to change the fucking logo on the logo on the side of your cars. Because 1840, there's a lot of brown and black folks that died since then. A lot of brown and black folks that died since then. You're talking about June 14th, 1920, where three black men were lynched in Duluth. You're talking about 1862, the biggest mass hanging in this country's history. Y'all want to promote that you've been around since then? That's on y'all. But again, brother, you don't got to do that. You don't got to wear that uniform. You can take it off. You can do it. You can actually change. And I bet your mother...
Alright, this is the last time I'm going to say it. If you honestly don't know what joggers is, you need to look it up. Don't ask the chat. Mods, you see anybody say jogger, you ban them. You don't time them out. You don't give them a warning. You don't talk to them. They're just ignorant human trash. So just ban them. We don't have place for them in our chat. Our chat's about peace, being open-minded, and being real cool. We don't have room for racism and hate.
That I want to make sure that we do before we go. One, for all the women who are here, for some of you, this is your first time protesting. You are part of what was formerly the Wall of Moms, which was a wall of bullshit, that is now Follow Black Women Twin Cities under the leadership of Catrice Jackson. So I want to thank y'all for coming out. And now you see what happens at a real protest, right? You see Black people leading. You see allies standing in solidarity. And we do this no matter what Trump does, right? We stand up for Black lives day in and day out. It doesn't matter who is in the White House, because Mike Brown was killed under Barack Obama's watch, right? This is something we've been dealing with for 400 years. So I'm thankful to Catrice Jackson for her leadership. I'm thankful to all of you who contributed so we could get these t-shirts for everybody. We could get food for everybody, snacks for everybody, because it's not free during a protest. So we thank you for your support and your solidarity. Cheryline, who couldn't be here, Cheryline Voss, got her neighbors to contribute as well. A sister named Bella Ibrahim met me and she got brought signs. So we want to thank everybody who made today possible. Also, we want to lift up two of our lead marshals and organizers. Where are you guys? Amelia and Jennifer Gilreath. They helped hold it down and lead our marshals. I want to give them a shout out. I want to thank all of our marshals. Y'all seen how many people showed up to volunteer to keep us safe and to get us to Hugo safely? I want to thank the Bikers for Black Lives for leading us. Those are some powerful men and women who show up in solidarity. I want to thank Leon Wayne. Where you at, Leon? Leon made all these Crow Must Go signs, y'all. Let's give Leon a hand.
He doesn't want that attention. I had to give it to him.
Movement.
Yeah, he's an amazing artist. Leon Wang.
I want to thank everybody who spoke here today. You have poured your hearts out, and you gave us some things to continue to think about. Because like Tucson said, this ain't the last time we come into Hugo. We want him to feel just as uncomfortable as we feel every time he's patrolling the streets of Minneapolis. We want Bob Kroll to be fired. Period. So there's a couple things I want to do. So I want the Black people who are here to go over to that flagpole, because when you know it, he got an American flag. So we're going to take a knee right outside Bob Kroll's house in the spirit of Colin Kaepernick, who was standing up for Black people who've been slain by the police. So if you are Black and you were at this protest, come on over to this flagpole so we can take a knee. Allies, let's stand in solidarity and support. Let's cheer on our Black
Police are going to have a problem with them being on his property. So this is going to be a little tense for a second.
Against that cowardly cunt, Bob Kroll.
Well, it looks like they're not making the move.
And it's terrorism. So we gonna kneel right outside the flagpole of his bitch ass house, and we gonna take a knee. Come on, Black folks, I still see some of y'all out here. Come on over here and take a knee with us in solidarity. We taking a knee for George Floyd. We taking a knee for Jamar Clark. We taking a knee for Philando Castile. We taking a knee for Terrence Franklin. We taking a knee for Travis Jordan, Marcus Golden, Cordell Handy, Billy Hughes, Phil Quinn. We taking a knee for all the people whose names we don't know. Mario Benjamin, Chaser Fun Boom. We taking a knee for all of them. Who else? Dante? Trey Hamilton, Tyrone Williams, Foamy Lee, Isaac Hayden. We said Cordell Handy, but we'll say Cordell again in honor of Kim Handy Jones, who wanted to be here. Tyson Nelson.
Got the police on both sides that have come up.
Isaac Hayden, Thurman Blevins, Tamario Robinson, Elijah McClemmon. Elijah McClemmon, Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, Stanley Ayanna Brown, Brian Quinones, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown,
called him a cowardly cunt. He had called people a cowardly cunt the other day.
Let's give our black people a hand for showing up in Utah, Minnesota, calling us a plan, and standing up for our people and our ancestors, and those who ain't here to speak for themselves. Thank y'all. Let's rise up.
We got your back.
Who got our back?
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 We got your back.
Black lives
Matter.
Black lives
Matter.
Black lives
Matter.
Black lives
Matter.
Black lives Black lives Black lives. All right, so the next thing I want to do, if you brought a sign that you would like to leave here in the driveway, you can please take a moment and leave your sign. And then don't be scared. Fuck Bob Crow. If you want to leave a sign in the driveway, I will be the first. Can I have your sign? We're peaceful. We know y'all ain't been paid to pick up no damn signs out the garage. Let Bob Crow pick up his own damn trash. So leave these signs. Don't be afraid, because Bob Crow needs to know that we were here. And we are standing up for the people of Minneapolis who are sick and tired of his terrorism and his white supremacy and him having the nerve to defend killer cops. It's time for him to get off the Minneapolis police force. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. So we're leaving these signs here. Once you put the sign down, do not engage the police. Turn around and come back in the middle of the street so we can end with the Asada Shakur chant.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure what they're doing right here is illegal. The police don't seem to have a problem with it, but yeah, this is definitely trespassing and borderline vandalism, maybe? I don't know. Anthony, you can't donate all the money you made today off the donations, dude.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you guys for subscribing. Make sure you guys also throw some likes on the video. It helps with the algorithm. It helps bring more people into the chat.
Hey John, you missing a key? Sorry, man. No, you're good.
And don't forget all this bougie ass fucking
King D. You want to watch King D's streams? Go to your Facebook, King Demetrius Pendleton.
Unicorn Riot, and all the independent media. Brixton News. Let's give Brixton News a round of applause as well. And there's a lot of new independent media, so we want to thank
You're good. You're good. Go wherever. I'll go around.
Chantel Allen to close us out with the Asada Shakur chant. And then I'm going to give the microphone to Amelia, who's going to give us instructions so that we can be ready to get out of Hugo. So you want to give instructions now and then the Asada Shakur chant? All right. And then there's candy on the ground. So we got tour guys home. Come and get some candy.
Alright, thank you everybody. We have had a beautiful day together. We are going to make sure everybody gets out of here safely. So when we're done here, please don't delay. Make it to your cars. Head on out of here. We're going to get
Over here live in Hugo, Minnesota.
caravan back the way we caravan here. If you need to go back this year, some of us are going back there. But otherwise, you're welcome to just go on your way to where you need to go next, okay? So we're not caravanning back. So we want to make sure everybody gets out of here and out to go through this together.
Leader of Black Lives Matter to close us out with the Asada Shakur chant. Let's give Chantel a round of applause. Give yourself
Appreciate everybody that's giving me props on the music. It's not shitty stock music, as that asshole said. I have to play my own music because anytime commercial music plays during the live stream, the video gets taken down for copyright infringement. It's super annoying. It makes it so if people miss out, they can't go back and check it out. This is going to be a part of history, whether you guys like it or not. So I'm trying to leave all the videos up. So that's why you hear the music through the whole thing. I try to manage it and balance it out. But if you ever hear just the beats and you don't hear no talking or nothing, chances are they're playing commercial music and I'm doing what I got to do. If you don't like the music, you might as well go, because it's going to be playing through the whole time we're live.
One more time for the people in the back. We have nothing to lose but our change! We have nothing to lose but our change! All power to the people, y'all. Alright, can we get some music? Can we get some music as people head to their cars?
All right, y'all. Thank you for joining. We're here live in Hugo, Minnesota.
You want to dance on the way back to your cars?
People are going to be moving back to their cars. We're going to take the stream down in a very quick moment. What you saw was the ending of the action at Bob Crow's house earlier. If you want to see what the action was happening, check out King Demetrius' stream, Listen Media. You can find it on Facebook, King Demetrius Pendleton. King Demetrius, all one word with E. The first I would be an E, Demetrius. All right, so this is outside of Bob Crow's house.
I appreciate all you cool people being here. When this stream goes down, we're going to keep rolling. I'm going to look for something else, and we're going to keep it going.
And police were here. The people took a knee at the flag outside of Bob Crow's house, and then they left signs. The signs were not stopped by the police. The police did not stop the leaving of the signs. The police actually got given some candy. You can see it in the belt right there. That's some candy from the police, from the Bob Kroll pinata and the Liz Collin pinata that were smashed to provide candy for the group. And maybe some relief of some energy, some negative energy that people had. Again, Liz Kroll is the WCCO anchor. She works for WCCO, a corporate news station here locally in Minnesota, Channel 4. She is, as I said, a news anchor. her husband, Bob Kroll, is the head of the Minneapolis Police Department union. So that means that he was voted in by police who are his, who work for the Minneapolis Police Department. They voted him in. Bob Kroll has a very deep past, a lot of complaints, I think 54 plus complaints, 11 lawsuits. He is part of the motorcycle gang called City Heat, which is a white supremacist motorcycle gang. They have insignia on their patches that are very racist, people hanging and other such racist insignia. City Heat is, as I said, the gang that he's in, as well as the MPD. He was in the MPD for a long time, and as I said, he had a lot of complaints and lawsuits. Bob Kroll is now the head of the president. He's the president of the Minneapolis Police Federation, and as I said, he was voted in. And the reason why that's important is because that means the police department officers actually also believe that he's their leader and that he's a leader for them. And so if that's who the Minneapolis police officers feel like is their leader, then that is a significant issue for the community here, where the Minneapolis Police Department officers are actually policing 45 minutes away in Minneapolis, where a lot of people have skin complexions with darker hues than these white folks out here, as well as different issues. And right now there's just a lot of contention around the police, obviously, and so we'll see what happens in the coming months. It seemed like the political atmosphere was a lot of political posturing when it comes to dismantling and defunding the police. That doesn't seem to be happening. We'll see where these movements can lead. There's a lot of people out here continuously, still every day, still putting in work, still trying to fight for change. A lot of people volunteering all their time. You see all these people in yellow uniforms, they're not getting paid. They're out here volunteering. All the people that are protesting, they're not here because they want to be here. They're here because they feel like there's fundamental change that needs to happen in this society. And so therefore, that's what we're here for as well, as Unicorn Riot, alternative independent media organization trying to bring the voices of these folks who feel like there should be change to the spotlight, to our platform. So thank you all for joining. We're outside of Bob Kroll's house. We'll bring the stream down. There's more. There was another action about this early in June. We had covered that. It was called Media Bias or something like that. You can check that out on our website. It was about a 5-hour organized protest outside of WCCO in downtown Minneapolis. Beyond that, we are a nonprofit. We are horizontally organized. We have no bosses. If you have the financial ability and you like our coverage, please consider becoming a monthly donor. That's the only way we're able to. Hey, thank you. Yeah, you too. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Come yet. What is it? Oh, shit. Yeah, I'll have to look into it. Thank you. Okay. So, Chris, thank you for running the back end. Chris, you could get ready to take it down. Again, if people have the financial ability, financial privilege to support Unicorn Riot, feel free to become, or please become a micro monthly donor. Sorry, I was trying to type and to say stuff at the same time. Sometimes that doesn't work. So, outside of Bob Kroll's house here in Hugo, Minnesota, this is Nico. Thank you, Chris, on the back end. Thank you all for joining. Earlier, we were at the press conference outside of George Floyd Memorial, and we will have an uploaded full version of that tonight on our platform. Check out our internet, check out our website, unicornriot.ninja, Twitter, UR_ninja, and Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, as well as Instagram, unicorn.riot. Thank you all for joining. Peace. Have a great weekend.
Alright guys, I'm checking around to see what else is out there. The president's speaking live. There's a couple rallies going on. I'm trying to find something with a lot of action. We still got a lot of day left to cover.
What will you leave your ass
So
But anyway, the point. And I found the 72 hours thing extremely interesting. Because he was in the belly of the earth exactly 72 hours.
Really? And that's how long it took?
And he said see, I don't make any of these people such trolls even telling me.
Wow!
This guy's in Portland. They just had a speaker, I think. I'm gonna leave it right here for a second. I'm gonna keep looking for some other stuff going on.
Yeah, I grew up in church worship, man. I'm a drummer, so I've
Me too.
spent a lot of time
Oh my
in.
God,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
I was an accordionist.
Really?
Of all things first.
Yeah.
And do you know what GMOs are? Genetically modified organisms.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
I learned about that in 1969. I was only 13. Nobody knew about that. Okay? People thought I was crazy for more than half of my life. I learned things.
Did the research, yeah. Yeah, I don't like TV. Yeah, I followed everybody there, yeah. Yeah.
I'm praying the whole way. I'm at the back of the path. And I'm going over there. I was praying. Close their doors. Do you know why? Because this day is the 7th day of the week. It is the day, he says, but it's a 24-hour period, not just a couple
You guys can't see it right now, but I'm dancing.
I'm raving.
Yeah. You don't start Harry Potter in the middle of it.
You don't start any book that I know of
Yeah.
in the middle of it. It's the only book that is going to help people get through this mess.
Mm-hmm.
And look how they treat it. But they all say, oh yeah, you believe the Bible? Oh, absolutely. Hey, I was one of them until I was 40. I used to believe the Bible? Absolutely. Do you believe it's the Word of God? Absolutely. Did you know I lied every time I said that? I didn't know why I said it. How could I believe it?
It's actually
People say that. And I was lying the whole time. Didn't even have a clue I was. Well, now I actually do know this word, but still doesn't matter what you know. That's what you do. So if you're not actually obeying him, did you know that he said more than once that if you obey all his commandments, his statutes, his precepts, and his ordinances, by the way, those are not equal. They're all different things. He will put on us the diseases that he puts in others to the Guess what? I'm living proof of that.
Look healthy to me.
I climb up to 2,000 steps every morning, up and down, anywhere from 17 to 34 minutes, depending on how much time I have. Try that.
Just like going up and down steps. Yeah.
I have many places, even over in Silverton and around town, where I've counted the steps, so I know how many times I have to go up and down to get the number of steps I want to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Then I go walk 2.5 to 4 miles, very peacefully. Then I go work my 8 hour day. How many people do you know that do that at the age of 65 and don't even get out of breath?
Probably not
And
enough.
never even get a sniffle. Right. Now, I haven't had a vaccination since 1960. You are opposed and do not trust my kids.
No, not at all. He would love to see it happen. I didn't speak to him about it, but I will tell you this. I would imagine he would say, number one, they didn't give me the funding for it because it's sitting in Congress because they want $1 trillion to bail out states, just so you understand what they want. They want $1 trillion to bail out badly run, Democrat-run states, okay? That's what they want. They're not giving the money to the post office. They have to give the money to the post office.
Are creating some delays now.
No, the steps he's creating, yeah. No, not at all. The steps that he's taking are trying to stop the tremendous losses that have taken place for many, many years. He's trying to streamline the post office and make it great again, okay? Well, wait a minute, you just look, I just read last night that now New Jersey's gonna try the universal mail-in voting. Well, they didn't know this, so now all of a sudden New Jersey's gonna be hit with millions of ballots to be sent out. They didn't know anything about this. So how does a post office, how does a postal service that doesn't know about it, now all of a sudden New Jersey's supposed to take out and millions of ballots are going to be sent all over New Jersey? And if you look at some of the things they say, like take the state of Nevada, take that little scam that's going on over there with the clubhouse politician governor, take that, where the votes don't even have to be in till they get counted 7 days after November 3rd. That means if Nevada's a very important state, I think we have a great chance of winning that state. If the votes don't have to be in for 7 and they're not counting the votes 7 days later, that means how are they going to predict a winner on November 3rd? No, absentee is okay. But the Democrats are not,
they are not approving the resources. You're right. There has to be more resources. I agree, because all of a sudden the post office is tripling up in size. The problem is the Democrats are not approving the funds necessary. It's in there. Now, they have $25 billion. I've seen $15 billion. I've seen a lot of money. I don't know how you can spend that much, but that's what they're saying. They're saying, so not only do they want $1 trillion to hand out as welfare to all these states that are run by Democrats doing badly, they want $25 billion for the post office, but they're not approving it. Now, what I want is a lot of money, thousands of dollars, to go to people because they need money. They really, despite the good numbers, despite numbers like that, they need money to live, and I want that to happen. The Democrats don't care about that. They just want to give bailout money to their friends running big states poorly.
Mr. President, do you want to give the United States, the people of the United States, that mailing?
Do you want to give Edward Snowden a pardon and bring him back? Would you suggest that?
Well, I'm going to look at it. I mean, I'm not that aware of the Snowden situation, but I'm going to start looking at it. There are many, many people. It seems to be a split decision. And many people think that he should be somehow treated differently, and other people think he did very bad things. And I'm going to take a very good look at it. Okay? I mean, I've seen people that are very conservative and very liberal, and they agree on the same issue. They agree both ways. I'm going to take a look at that very strongly. Edward Snowden. Yeah, please.
Do you agree with Dr. Robert Redfield, who earlier this week said if America doesn't follow public health guidelines, which means store for one of the worst falls we've ever faced from a public health perspective?
No, I mean, you can't compare it to 1917. That was incredible. That was the worst ever by far. That was, you look at they lost possibly 100 million people. No, I don't agree with that. But if you look at these numbers, they're coming down very substantially. And I do believe that Americans, many are wearing masks, which is a good thing. Again, some people thought that you shouldn't wear masks. You know, when this whole thing started, Dr. Fauci, who I like and respect, said don't wear masks, okay? And so did Dr. Redfield. And then all of a sudden, it was like everybody should wear masks. And that's okay. People can change their mind. But wash your hands, good hygiene, all of those things, I think people are really doing it to a level that they've never done before. And when you look at the numbers, the way the numbers are coming out, I mean, it's very impressive when you see what's happening. By the way, Florida doing well, you see that, and hospitalizations, and you know, normally you would have had to build more like we did for the first surge. We've done it right. We closed it up. We had the greatest economy in history. We closed it up. We understand the disease now. Nobody knew what was hitting us, right? Nobody knew that old people would be very, very susceptible, especially if they have heart and diabetes problems and other problems. That old people would be very susceptible, and young people would be extremely good with it. If you look at the percentages, there are a tiny percentage that have problems, especially the big problem. So no, I think that we're doing very well. We're on our way, and we're also opening up our economy, and our economy is going to set records. And if stupid people aren't elected next year, we're going to have one of the greatest years that we've ever had.
Mr. President,
Jennifer, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've already taken action on TikTok and WeChat.
Yeah.
Which other Chinese tech companies are you looking at banning from operating in the United States?
Well, the big thing is Huawei, right? Huawei's not here, and Huawei I'm not allowing. And I've told European countries and others, Australia has been fantastic as an example, but Huawei's not coming here. And we told certain countries that Huawei, that's okay, you can use them, but we're not going to be sharing intelligence, and they've all backed away. You look at the UK, it looked like they were going that way, and now they've backed out. Scotland Yard. There are we're looking at other things, yes, we are.
Mr. President, you say that you want the mail to be processed as quickly as it can, but why is your postal service dismantling these mail sorting machines across the country at this time?
Well, you'll have to ask him. I know this. He's a very efficient operator, a very good operator. But again, he needs money to operate if you're going to hit him with millions of ballots. And if you ask him, he will tell you, and he'll tell you very nicely, you have the money, it's sitting there, it's ready to go. The Democrats don't want to approve it. But I want money for other things, too. I want money to go to people so they can live very nicely, because China caused the problem. They didn't.
On the campaign, will you say now is eligible to run and...
Don't forget to like and subscribe so you're notified every time we go live. We go live every single day.
I read something about it, and I will say that he is a brilliant lawyer, that I guess he wrote an article about it. So I know nothing about it, but it's not something that bothers me. Why do you say that? I just don't know about it, but it's not something that we will be pursuing. Let me put it differently. Let me put it differently. Don't tell me what I know. Let me put it differently. To me, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't know about it. I read one quick article. The lawyer happens to be a brilliant lawyer, as you probably know. He wrote an article saying there could be a problem. It's not something that I'm going to be pursuing. I just told you, I have not gone into it in great detail. If she's got a problem, you would have thought that she would have been vetted. You would have thought that she would have been vetted by Sleepy Joe. Yeah, go ahead.
President, sir, I just want to ask you, after 3 weeks of absolutely no deal, you've been ragging on Democrats constantly. Why not come to the table personally and sit with them? I mean, I know that Speaker Pelosi and Minority Leader Schumer were in the Oval Office in December 2018. That did not go so well. Everybody in the world saw that. Why not invite them? If they don't want to come, that's on them.
So I think we've done very well. We've had 3 phases. We're into phase 4. We've gotten everything we wanted, and we've also gotten a great economy. All you have to do is take a look at these charts. Our economy is doing good, but we want different things than them. I want money for the people. They want money to bail out Democrat governors and Democrat mayors. Listen to me. My people are doing very good, and my people call me. They're in the office. They call me when it's right. Nobody knows the deal better than I do. When it's right, I'll meet. But right now, it's not right. They want $1 trillion to bail out badly run states. They're Democrat. They're Democrat states. Will something happen? Possibly. But I want to tell you, the country is doing very well right now. We can live very happily with it, without it. But I'd like to do it because I want to give money to the people. I want to put money into the people's hands. They want to put money into politicians' hands so that the politicians don't look stupid. Okay. Steve, please.
You've had some differences with your defense secretary, Mark Esper. Do you have confidence in his leadership there?
Mark Jesper? Did you call him Jesper? Oh, okay. Some people call him Jesper. No, I get along with him. Fine. He's fine. Yeah, no problem. I consider firing everybody. At some point, that's what happens. Jennifer, do you have something, Jennifer? You're working so hard.
Do you think that there will be anyone else who leaves your cabinet after the election, sir?
So if we have the success, I think we have a silent majority, the likes of which has never been seen before. I think you read about it, where 62% of the people say they're not even telling the truth on polling, and where the polling is fake, where they do registered voters and where they do many more Democrats than they do Republicans. Same as happened last time. But this year, I think we have much more enthusiasm. Maybe those people back there would understand it better than anybody, but I think there's more enthusiasm for 2020 than there was even for 2016. And 2016 was a record. You found that out. And I believe there's much more enthusiasm now than there was even in 2016. We have a silent majority, the likes of which nobody has seen. I just looked, there are thousands of boats in lakes, rivers, and oceans. Thousands and thousands of boats. It's called Boaters for Trump, Boaters for Trump Pence. There's signs all over. Some of the boats have 10 flags on them. They're incredible. There are thousands. We did nothing to do this. This is just generic. It just happened. Let me just tell you, I think the level of enthusiasm for what we're doing, we want law and order. We want low taxes. They want to raise your taxes. They want to have open borders, and they want to defund the police. How do you win on that? They want to go to Texas, and they want to go to Pennsylvania, and they want to stop fracking. And Ohio, they want to stop fracking. They're against steel. They're against anything with petroleum, the word petroleum in it. You won't have a country. These people are crazy. Go ahead.
As far as your cabinet goes, do you think you'll see more turnover in your cabinet?
Well, I don't know. I think for next year, generally speaking, a lot of times I understand if we win, a president will ask for the resignation of everybody and then bring back the people he wants. That's happened before, Steve. And I could see something like that happen. I think that makes sense. No, I have a very good cabinet. With few exceptions. I wouldn't say I'm thrilled with everybody, frankly. But I have overall
open up that conversation. Put the media narratives behind you because their goal is to divide. Because when we're divided, it creates a story. I stood in the middle of the Lee Circle and I had a woman hollering in my face asking me why I was there, and all the cameras were taking pictures. But the minute some brothers got behind me and started going back at her, the cameras were pointed at the ground. That's what they don't want to see. They don't want to see this out here. They don't want to see a brother armed. They don't want to see a sister armed. They don't want to see a white man armed standing together, because we're not against each other. We're against a system that continues to destroy each and every one of you. So I want to thank every one of you for coming out. Don't clap for me, clap for yourself, because you're doing something that you're not supposed to do. You're doing something that they have told you for the past 200 years you cannot do. Don't clap for me, clap for yourselves, because this is groundbreaking. This has not been done. We're going to be here on Tuesday. We're meeting at the Capitol and we're marching to the Science Center. We're going to march for the first time in gun owner history. We're going to hold a march and we're going to march through the streets. And I hope you're out here, because we're going to continue destroying that narrative. Put those political identities aside. Talk to each other. I love each and every one of you. And I'm going to borrow that statement that the Black Panther Party there in the back, they said earlier, and it has been said, power to the people, because you are the people, and this is our America, each and every one of ours. Thank you for coming out. I love each and every one of you, and power to the people. Six Semper Tyrannis, thus always the terror.
Very passionate young man right here. I fool with Mike. I fucks with Mike. I fucks with you, bro. You my bro, man. I swear to God. You get that Christmas ham, but something's happening. But yeah, again, I like to give history lessons. Well, I don't know if I need it.
Do I need this? Am I good? Am I good? Yeah, good. All right. So, Charlottesville, 2017. Everybody knows what happened in Charlottesville in 2017, right? So, to our knowledge, to everybody's knowledge, the patriot groups and 3% groups are supposed to be these far-right groups who hate black people, and everything is terrible. So, after the incidents in Charlottesville occurred, there were different patriot groups that reached out to us, BLM 757, to let us know that they had dispelled anybody even going to Charlottesville. They told their members not to deploy. They do not stand with the neo-Nazis. This is what they stand for as a people. I then went on their radio show to tell them what we stood for as a people, and we found out we had a lot more in common than we had different. Again, like I said, they do have their different beliefs and disbeliefs, but the more we have the conversation, people don't understand reparations. People feel like if they offer us reparations, everybody's gonna get $1 million and it's not gonna be accounted for, etc. That's not how it works. Right now there is a bill on the table. It's called HR 40. It is to simply study reparations and see what it would look like, as the brother spoke on before, just to study. So if your politician isn't at least willing to study the reparations, just study to see what it would look like, see what it will come from, realize there was 400 years of oppression and however many years of slavery and all that coming into here since 1619, and to say that these people aren't owed anything, we people are not owed anything, is bullshit. We started from the ground, started from the mud, we built all this up literally. This is not figuratively, this is literally. Free labor, slave labor, and nothing to show for, oh, well, y'all, I was out here and I worked my way to the top. Why can't you do the same thing? Because we haven't afforded the same opportunities down the timeline. If you start off on top, it's very hard to get knocked down. But if you start off at the bottom and you have to fight your way back through the famine, through the sickness, lack of health care, lack of economic stability, lack of everything that's going on around here, what are you going to do? And I also want to end the narrative that black fathers aren't in black kids' life. That is a motherfucking lie.
That's a lie.
Leave that in the, I don't even know when. But all of my friends, all of my homies are in their kids' life. Everybody other than that, everybody's in their kids' life. We don't fool people who don't fool their own kids. So let's just go that rumor as well. But I said that is my piece. But we want to know how these conversations started. Like, well, why are y'all associating with far this and far that, and left down left, right down right, ABAC, ABB? Shit starts sounding like a video game cheat code. What are all these things y'all are naming to me? To actually understand this political science, you do have to actually study political science, and it's a lot to take in. If you just watch the news an hour a day, it might not be enough. You really have to dig deep into these crates, because the media only puts out what they want you to know. They don't want to put out there what's actual factual and lay everything out on an even playing field. And they, like Fox News, they more so represent the Republicans, so they're going to put everything in the Republican positive light. CNN, they more so stand for Democrats,
everything in that light. There is no party standing for the libertarians, at least trying to give them a voice, even though they're out here putting in work as well, and they have policies, and they're fighting to make sure things happen too. Let's end all the party line. Because to me, when I think party, I think of a good time. I don't know about y'all, but what is there to celebrate when lives are being taken? What is there to celebrate when we don't have equality? What is there to celebrate when people are dying daily for all these different things? There's nothing to celebrate. This ain't no damn party. These are lives at stake. So with that being said, like I said again, we got a few more minutes till our last speaker comes. I encourage everybody to coordinate, exchange phone numbers. We're BLM 757 on Instagram and Twitter. I would love to have anybody cards to have one. We can make this an annual thing. Like I said, everybody will be out here Tuesday because they're having that special session. There's the next lobby day, but just let's make sure we're involved. What different time? There's a lot of different things. So
you know I ain't going nowhere.
We'll have everybody. It'll be online. Though some stuff starts around 12. Some stuff starts around 10. Some stuff will be here. Some stuff will be at the Single Center. So we'll post the information we have on our social media, and we'll take it from there. But it's gonna be real. Another thing we're trying to form is a 757-804 coalition. So we have our lawmakers. We have the numbers down there in the 757 to make things shake. Y'all have the numbers up here to make things shake. There's gonna be no issue taking over the state because what happens on the western part of Virginia, nobody actually knows. When the 757 and the 804, that's what we know. It's pretty much running things as far as political and any of that type of stuff. That's just my knowledge. Maybe you can name me that little city that's on the boot of Virginia, but I don't know what it's called. Never been over there. Got no interest in going. So, you got anybody else? No.
I really appreciate all of you guys subscribing and donating and just being really cool in the chat. It makes it really easy on my mods, and it makes it super appealing to do this every day. So I really appreciate all of you.
Is it too late for a group picture? Everybody here? Let's take one of those.
Let's do it.
Can we never make it out?
We rep the Zetas. We rep the Thetas. We rep the Thetas.
That song, Jersey. I came out of Petersburg, finished up out there. Beach more time. I would have stayed too. I would have stayed too.
Extra gravy.
Oh no, I was waiting for. I thought he said, "Yo, are you doing a group picture?" What's that? 300 blackout.
See, told I need something my size.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, I need to get started. I mean, you can still fire like that, but it's not gonna be as accurate. Yeah, it's gonna kick. Yeah, that kick on there. 300 blackout. Yeah, that's going through that barrier right there.
Let's make this an annual thing.
Hey, Pop.
We're gonna have a rain location next time. We're just gonna bring out big ass tent.
So is there a reason why?
It's ironic the rain would have been like right at 3 and everybody's already.
I just absolutely, I'm a revolver lover.
Appreciate
I have none, so I put one on layaway, and I just happen to have that by like, you know, but not. To be honest with you, in case I gotta pop somebody,
Where's the merch?
Is this the only table they got over here?
Nice.
As far as I know. Ain't no merch. They ain't hitting no shit.
Guys, I want to get a photo with you. Yeah?
All welcome in this photograph.
I know these guys look all cool posing for their picture, but we're about to switch the feed. In Chicago, they're like marching throughout the streets. I think it's Chicago. We're gonna see.
Fuck Trump. You can't stop the revolution. You can't stop the revolution.
Glory can't stop the revolution.
Glory can't stop the revolution.
Can't stop the revolution.
12 can't stop the revolution. You can't stop the revolution. You can't stop the revolution. For glory, Lightfoot.
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 For glory, Lightfoot. Fuck CPD. Fuck CPD.
CPD.
For glory, Lightfoot. For glory, Lightfoot.
As you can see, we are peacefully protesting out here, calling on the CPD budget to reinvest it into our neighborhoods, man. You could see that when something happens to downtown, people fix that up right quick. But in our neighborhoods, we see this stuff every day. Why are we not investing into our neighborhoods, y'all? One of our awesome organizers, y'all. Nita out here leading the efforts, y'all. Leading the efforts, man. Catch her out in your neighborhood. She's always out and about, man. And ask yourselves what you're doing. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis to fix your neighborhood, to work on your neighborhood, y'all?
Our streets. Our streets.
Hey, thank you so much for the donation.
Our streets. Our streets.
Our streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets. Our streets.
As y'all can see, this is a black and brown effort, y'all. It is not a one-sided issue. It is not a singular issue, y'all.
Our city. Our city. Our city. Our city.
Thank you, MK. Is it time for a smoke break? Is that what we're saying here?
Fuck that bridge. Fuck that bridge.
As y'all could see, as many of y'all knew, they put up the bridge because they want to protect downtown, but they don't want to protect our neighborhoods. They don't want to protect our kids in cages. They could care less about our kids in cages. They could care less about our black and brown neighborhoods. And this is what they do. This is a response that they are doing. And this is our response, a peaceful protest, y'all.
Alright guys, it's officially break time. Gotta take a smoke break. I'll be right back. You stay here and watch this.
Mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
Is this better? Yeah? So if you were on a bike or you were a white person in this space, I need more of y'all around the perimeter. We're too unprotected up at the front right now. All those bikes were on our sides and there was no bikes and no white allies on the side protecting everybody. We gotta keep each other safe, right? We gotta make sure we're good, right? We can't get separated today, right? Because if we get separated, they're going to take us. We cannot let them take us, right? Look to the person next to you and say, I will protect you.
I will protect you.
I will keep you safe.
I will keep you safe.
I will make sure
when you get to wherever you need to be. Safely.
Okay? We love each other, right? We're all here for each other, right? We're in this space together for each other, right? So let's make sure we're safe. Let's make sure we're protected. And y'all ready?
As y'all can see, we are out here with our black brothers and sisters, our black and brown brothers and sisters. This is not a singular issue. And I ask every single one of y'all, what are y'all doing to keep your neighborhood safe, to improve the condition of your communities? Y'all can see this is not a singular issue, man, and I want to ask every single one of y'all, what are y'all actually doing? Actionable. Actually taking steps forward to improve the conditions of your neighborhood, to save the kids that are caught up in cages. What are you doing? At a standoff right now, y'all. As you can see, they're only protecting, like Manny said, right, the elitists here in downtown. As our kids are out here, our youngest of youngest kids are out here, our older generations are out here. This is a collaborative, intergenerational effort. A black and brown, non-singular effort, y'all. So Robert, they already raised that bridge, bro. Already raised it. message today, y'all. These are our messages today. Officers don't even have masks, y'all. How is it that we as a people can do better and taking grown-up precautions than our own city government? Trying to target our people out on the sides, y'all. As y'all can see, we were able to stop something from happening right now. They are pushing our women, they're pushing our young girls out here. Everybody over here. And luckily, our allies are stepping up and going to the front lines. But our allies are stepping up and going to the front lines, and we need to make sure that we are all together because they're trying to target small groups of people out here. peaceful protest, y'all. And CPD's trying to target our people on the sides, but our allies are stepping up and going to the front lines, man. Exactly. They're pushing and shoving the young girls, almost causing altercations out here, but luckily our allies are stepping up. And we have some great organizers out here that are making sure that the peace, that we do not disrupt our peace, that we are out here peacefully protesting. Staying in. Trying to speak too much, y'all, right now. Want to make sure that we can hear our organizers, make sure that we're all in unison. We're not about hate out here. There's one message. And unless you're doing something about it, productively something about the conditions in your neighborhood, in your community, then I really don't know what to say to y'all. We're about action. We're about doing something to improve the conditions of our neighborhood, of our communities. have no mask on and they were face to face with our organizers.
Why are you in riot gear? 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 All these racist ass cops, we don't need them. Back up, we want freedom. All these racist ass cops, we don't need them. Back up, we want freedom. All these racist ass cops, we don't need them. Back up, we want freedom. All these racist ass cops, we don't need them. Back up, we want freedom. All these racist ass cops, we don't need them. Back up, we want freedom. All these racist ass cops, we don't need them. We want freedom. All these racist ass cops, we don't need them. Back up. They think it's a game. They think it's a joke. think it's a game. They think it's a joke. They think it's a game. They think it's a joke.
Responders at had the first responder be the fire truck, or she may have not made it. Had the first responder been the ambulance, she definitely would not have made it. And I still don't know if she's made it or not. I will try and find out. So guys, thanks for watching. I went to get that off my chest. Peace out.
People used to live here. Fire, lion, get the fire. Fire, lion, get the fire. Black people used to live here. Black people used to live here. Fire, fire, get the fire.
See if y'all remember this one. It's an old favorite.
All because he didn't have on his seatbelt. This is what they do. Y'all share this, please. Share this. Make this go viral. Let's make Tampa Bay, what you call it, Tampa Police Department finest. Let's make them go viral. Yeah. For a seatbelt violation. For a seatbelt violation. That's what they bring out here, for a seatbelt violation. And they said it. They pulled him over because he didn't have on his seatbelt. Yeah. Being black in Tampa, Florida. Home of Chief Brian Dugan. And guess what, y'all? The mayor wants to fund this police department $13 million extra so that they can continue to do stuff like this. This is probably what happened to Jonas Joseph on April 28th. This is what probably what happened to Jonas. They profiled Jonas and they pulled him over, and because we weren't there to record, they killed him. Now we got to stand with that family. Thank God we were able to see this. But yeah, let me show y'all who they brung out here because of a seatbelt. Because he's a black man riding without his seatbelt on, a civil infraction. This is who they bring out here. And I guess they're about to take his fingerprints. I wouldn't consent to that. I would not consent to this. It's a good idea to consent to that? Huh? Okay. Oh, they're taking pictures of his book bag now. Even though the sergeant said to let him go. So I guess because we're out here, they're turning this into a big scene. This is what they do. Right on camera. They don't care. A seatbelt violation. So this is what's going to happen if y'all ride around with no seatbelt. If you're black, though. You got to be black. Minority. And this is the treatment you'll get from Tampa Bay finest. TPD finest. Boy. This is what they do. I mean, for a seatbelt violation. A seatbelt violation. They got him right there. I think they're gonna try to get his fingerprints. I think that's what they're trying to do. And then take a picture before they let him go. Y'all share this, please. Yes. Let's make Tampa Bay Police, TPD, go. Let's make these fine officers go viral. Let's show our appreciation for their racism. And the racism racial profiling award goes to for a seatbelt violation. They already said to let him go. They've already acknowledged, the sergeant has already acknowledged that there was no crime committed. But what they're saying is that they have to take his picture and take his fingerprints for whatever reason. That's what it looks like. I know they're taking his picture. I don't know. It looks like they're also preparing to take his fingerprints. And this is Tampa Bay finest. You know, the crazy thing is, oh Jesus, I don't even want to. But this is what they bring out here for a seatbelt violation, because a black man wasn't wearing a seatbelt in his car. They've already determined it's his car. He ain't stealing. It's his car. And because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, it results to all this. Me, oh my. Again, let's make him go. Let's make all of them go viral. Y'all share this, please. But I guarantee they won't do this to one of these white people to drive around in one of them Jaguars and the Mercedes. They ain't gonna mess with a rich Sally Sue. They ain't gonna mess with a white person. They're gonna do this to us. Out of all the people to mess with over here, look at all these white people walking around. And again, you know what I'm saying? You know, everybody, we're all supposed to be equal. But they do this to us. And they're doing it with a straight face, and they don't care. They've held this man now for quite some time for a seatbelt violation. And they're taking pictures of something. Okay. So my pastor's here. He's going to record it from the other angle because there's some funny business going on. But this is called Riding While Black. Riding While Black in Tampa, Florida. Let's give it up to the Tampa Police Department for riding while black without your seatbelt on. And they're taking pictures of his book bag. His book bag? He did say that he does mobile detailing. So, but there's nothing illegal. There's nothing on that trunk that's illegal. Nothing. So I don't know what they're taking pictures of, but good luck to them. But this is called Riding While Black. In Tampa, Florida. Because of his seatbelt, y'all. Because of a seatbelt. Because he didn't have on his seatbelt. And they're taking a picture of him because of his seatbelt. Again, because he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. They take out everything in his book bag, take a bunch of pictures. The sergeant already said to let him go several minutes ago, so I don't know what they're doing. Several minutes ago, they said to let him go. Oh, no, they're taking the cuffs off now. I already got the badge numbers of the main two officers. He gets his book bag searched, and again, as you can see, they're letting him go because he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything wrong. All he did was ride without a seatbelt, a civil infraction. A civil infraction. Now, we're going to help him get an attorney. We're going to file a complaint shortly. We're going to go up the ladder. This is ridiculous. They did not have the legal grounds to go in this car. And we're going to make sure that they're reprimanded. This is a civil infraction, not a criminal investigation. And now they're letting them go after an hour. Let's make them go viral. Now they're letting him go again. Riding? No, he did not. No, he did not. Gotta hold this close to my face, but no, he did not give them consent. Yeah, we're with Black Lives Matter. I'm a law student. I want to make sure that you get some assistance. I'm the vice president of Black Lives Matter Restoration Polk. I'm also a third-year law student. He's the director of an organization called PMJA, Poor Minority Justice Association. This is what we do. We're gonna make sure that we're gonna make sure that they pay for this legally, huh? Yeah. And now they're leaving, so I'm gonna end this live. Let's share this.
Oh, thank you, Sonia. Thank you. Let me go grab it. Here's the PayPal. Now, whatever you guys send, man, that gets used for fuel, gets used for flags, it gets used for these signs. I'll just make some signs. You guys saw the signs we had out here today. I spent $150 on signs. You know, printed up some pictures and made them real nice. You can throw it in the back of the truck. I'll clean it up later when we get to the house. Oh, yeah. Ordered it from Patriot Flags USA, handmade out of Florida.
Yeah?
Yes, ma'am, very expensive.
How big is that?
I just got kicked out of Twitter, 8 foot by 12 foot.
8 foot by 12 foot?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get kicked out of Twitter.
Oh yeah, I got booted. It's all right though. I'm kicked off of Twitter, but you can find me on Facebook, Jason Frank, F-R-A-N-K. If you send a request, I'm getting ready to sign out. I'll accept it now. So we just showed up. I don't know who organized it. I don't know. We just showed up. But thank you. No S. Right there. The Patriot dude.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. And what was your name?
Monique.
Monique. All right, I'll get in there and accept it as soon as I sign off here. All right. Thank you. Let me go say bye to Steve and them. Gordon, I'm gonna go to the house. Steve and everybody. So I love y'all. Thank you. Appreciate anybody that's close to Dallas tomorrow. You guys want to come out, support. We're gonna do the Save the Children thing. So I love you guys, man. Thank you for spending all day with us. This is what we do. Get ready, get your rest for tomorrow. We're gonna be out there, Save the Children in Dallas tomorrow.
Because Steve talks about me all the time on there. I mean, I don't care. Yeah, it's full of them. I don't mind. No, we call them the rest of the drum. Got naked and dancing in the streets in the cop. It's supposed to get DC maybe next weekend. I thought it was this weekend. It's supposed to get bad DC this weekend. A yellow Chevy Suburban SUV just rode on by the street and had a thing on top of it. This would be probably a police on market.
What's happening in DC?
They said it's getting crazy this week.
Georgia, I heard was crazy. Georgia was crazy earlier today.
Will you be going to Minneapolis too to meet at George Floyd Square? I don't think so. I hadn't heard about that until afterwards. I want to go, but I don't know how to get there.
Lined up, different uniforms and everything.
The vape scare was bad illegal carts caught an asshole that made them right here in Wisconsin.
I'm like, what?
It was in Wisconsin. Yeah, what the scare came out about was the people that were making dab carts. They were making fake ones, and those were killing people because of what was inside the coil.
What was it they were putting in?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was, but these were killing people. The fake dab carts, like the aftermarket, like the black market. I mean,
people start making.
Will you be going to Minneapolis too? I mean, if someone wants to buy me a plane ticket to Minneapolis, I'll go. Someone send me there, I'll go.
Oh, Jared, I think I'm on your plane. You leave the 27th.
Farmer would love to meet everybody. Yeah, I would like to go. I don't.
He parked his car in the shade and they slashed his tires again. Snack vans.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, like during the day when he parked to get out of the sun.
We'll message each other though, like outside.
Tires last night.
Yeah, they've been doing that last couple of days.
You guys are in violation. COVID-19.
A snack van can't even park in the
There's
shade.
not even more than 10 of us, and we're all
Fake
pretty
ones like the press badge.
Actually, the cops could declare this a riot because there were more than 5 people.
Uh-oh, what do y'all need to leave? I'm in the mood to run right now.
Yeah, I'm comfortable. Nose goes.
Jared, you were done here. Oh, no.
I didn't even hear what it was.
He said nose goes.
I know.
I'm just used to it with my child, yeah.
If I see people do that, I don't even care what they say. I'll just do it.
Just do it. I don't even, because if it's something that we have to nose goes for, it's something nobody wants to do.
How goes it? Pretty good, Steven. We came down here for a BLM rally, and there was the Patriots. What is their group? TAPS?
TAPS.
Yeah.
The Patriot American Society.
Yeah, the Patriot American Society, TAPS. They were down here, and they were doing a presentation. Or their rally was against child abuse and child sex trafficking and a bunch of things. This is awesome. I'm glad I got a bunch of footage of because fuck that. So they were down here, and then there was some tussles between them and the BLM people because some of the BLM people were blocking like their booth and up on the steps and stuff. So there was just some arguments, and a lot of the people that were down here were some of the same Patriot people that are down from the groups in Springfield. So there was just some people that were starting to just kind of cause some ruckus and stuff like that. But so there's a couple arguments, but for the most part, I mean, aside from the people, I mean, after the big fight that happened over by the trucks, the BLM people escorted everybody that was with them back over to the to where their group was at, because they had like an open mic there, so they were finishing over there they're speaking, and then the Patriot group decided that they all wanted to march over to Starbucks without their masks on and go into Starbucks and order coffee, but they locked the doors and shut them out when they got there. So yeah.
White America scared of you. And the very second they can't portray you as something to be scared of,
This
now
what
it's
I
a
wanna
problem.
say. First of all, right, sir, my eyes are just as green as yours.
I understand.
You know, when it really comes down to a DNA, we're all the same.
Absolutely.
Until everybody realized that, okay? The original. This is it. This is it. And that's why it would take me a lifetime before I decide I would kill you.
Thank you.
Right? No, what I'm telling you is real talk. Because at the end of the day, we're human beings. We all connected. Okay? We all connected. And that's what society needs to look at. We're all connected. Okay? So why would I kill you when I look in your eyes? Your eyes are green too. Mine's green too. So I'm gonna think about that thing.
Yeah.
Okay? You need to think about we're the human race.
Absolutely, we're all one.
Right? So when they say Black Lives Matter, once we basically consider the human race, it doesn't matter. Because we want to be doing what we're doing.
We have to get there. Yeah.
But it takes somebody like yourself, right? Jim, started here. Follow to your question.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing your story. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate everything that you're doing and that you'll continue to do to fight for this. Thank you. That means a lot. So, like I said, if anyone had any questions about policy or anything else, I'm happy to answer anything you got.
I have a couple if you're willing to. I'm with the outlet news to share if you're willing to answer a couple questions.
Sure, absolutely.
I guess the first question that's relevant with this crowd we have here is that guns are no longer a black and white issue or even a red and blue issue. Do you think the Libertarian Party is in a unique position to take advantage of that and address sort of the issues that the Republicans and Democrats are ignoring as far as gun policy?
Absolutely. We're the only party that has been consistent when it comes to everyone's right to keep and bear arms. The Republicans and their slush fund group, the NRA, like to pretend that they're the group for gun rights. But we've seen most gun control laws, in fact, every gun control law that's on the book has been passed with the help of Republicans, and often it was Republicans who were at the leading the charge for those gun control laws. Every single gun control law that is on the books happened with the support of the NRA. So the people who are being portrayed by corporate media as being the friend of gun owners, we can patently see that's not true. Donald Trump himself, he talks a great game occasionally on guns, but then he's pushing for bump stock bans, he's pushing for suppressor bans, he's pushing for, as he puts it, taking the guns first and then due process later. He's pushing for all of that. It is only the Libertarian Party who for nearly 50 years now, since our inception, has been pushing for an abolition of all gun laws and the enforcement of the Second Amendment as written, that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, period. Not unless this or unless that, but it shall not be infringed. And we're the only ones that have been consistent on that.
So civil rights and gun rights don't need to preclude one another.
Gun rights are civil rights, and civil rights are best enforced through gun rights. In the, what was it, almost 60 years ago, in the midst of a meltdown between different communities, we saw the Black Panthers were able to get together and walk into the California State House because they had open carry. What was the first thing that happened after that? Ronald Reagan and the California legislature passed the, I believe it's called the Mulford Act, which ended open carry. And then they immediately started infringing even further upon the rights of Black people in California. So before they could infringe upon their rights, they had to take away their ability to defend themselves. So they are, not only are they not mutually exclusive, they are intrinsically tied together.
Now, I know one thing with gun control is a lot of this isn't a federal issue. Here in Virginia, it's a state issue. It was forced to the State House this January. It's probably going to be pushed through next January. If elected, how would a Jorgensen administration handle some of these issues that maybe aren't on a federal level? How could you help if elected?
Well, first of all, even though a lot of the state laws, they are taking their cues from how things are classified by the ATF. Well, if the ATF's gone, they're going to have to come up with their own classification. And if we're able to show at the federal level the immediate and profound benefit that the American people will have in being able to defend themselves, not just in terms of civil rights and in their protection of their right to keep and bear arms, but from the fact that their communities will be safer, because it won't just be the police and criminals who own guns in many of these communities where they're currently illegal. When we do that and change it at the federal level, and also have federal police and federal law enforcement stop working with the states to enforce their state gun laws, not only will it be harder to enforce the gun laws in the first place, but the American people will see the immediate benefit of the ending of the gun laws and the relaxing of gun laws at both the federal and state level, which will naturally lead people to want furthering of that, to continue that trend towards ending the war on guns in our time.
Okay, Jorgensen administration gets elected. How do you start the process of dismantling ATF, drug enforcement agencies, all the alphabet soup agencies that, as you pointed out, kind of put their boots on the necks of people, black, white, everything in between?
Well, the beauty of the fact that Congress has so abdicated their responsibility over the past few decades to the executive branch and the creation of one regulatory agency after the next and giving them nearly unlimited regulatory authority is that can simply be undone by Joe when she comes into office. We also have all sorts of precedent that the president can hire and fire as they wish, absent the cabinet level. If they appoint someone to a cabinet position, they have to get approval. But Joe Jorgensen can go in and fire everyone in the ATF and just not hire anyone else. And then we can pressure Congress to make that permanent by repealing those laws that led to the ATF in the first place. But in the meantime, she can just fire them.
And I guess final question, I'm sorry, but as you pointed out, you have the Democratic Party that makes good lip service to the Black Lives Matter movement, but then appoints Kamala Harris as their vice presidential candidate. You have the Republican Party that makes a good lip service effort to gun groups, but then passes bump stock bans. And then you look at protests like this, or the January rally, or the July 4th rally, where you have gun groups, Black Lives Matter groups from across the political aisle coming together for a common cause. Why is it that the two parties we have keep ignoring that? And why would the Libertarians and your ticket be different if if we've been burned by both sides before.
They ignore it because it doesn't fit within the theater and the narrative that they've created. Republicans and Democrats have so little between them, so little difference between them, that they have to create theater, and they have to keep everyone nice and separated and fighting each other so that we don't take a step back and say, wait a second, they're all working together. They're all in on it. They're all getting us to fight each other, but then they're having cocktails together and working on the next, round of omnibus laws and legislation and regulations that they're going to pass. They're in on it. The Republican Party is one and the same and in on it together. And so they have to create that division. Something like this completely destroys their narrative, because they want to be able to ask someone, are you someone who supports gun rights or are you someone who supports Black Lives Matter? They want to be able to create this divide and put everyone on this side, put one group on this side and one group on this side, and have everyone fighting because it's divide and conquer. If we can all be fighting against you, if you and I are fighting each other, then we can't step back and say, oh, they all suck. We're sitting here fighting each other, and not only that, but then what happens is their threat that if you don't vote Joe Biden, if you don't vote for me, you're going to get Donald Trump.
If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Yeah, you ain't black.
That's
Yeah.
when he lost me, period.
Yeah.
Donald Trump says, if you don't vote for me, you get Donald Trump. What they're saying is, if you don't vote for me, you're going to get this other guy that I work with every day to screw you over and infringe upon you and oppress you and take more of your power and your wealth and your freedoms from you every single day. But that narrative falls apart the second that we aren't fighting each other, and that we're looking at the fact that they're all working together and that we don't care which one of them wins. We don't want either one of them to win. That's when that ends, and that's why they not only ignore it, but do everything they can to foster a divide between us.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Collins.
Thank you.
So, I guess you already spoke on part of it, and I was going to ask you about the dismantling, if you were in agreement with dismantling, like, corrupt police forces, like Virginia Beach is one of the most corrupt. Would you agree with, like I said, the full disclosure citizen review boards that would allow the citizens to speak out against what was going on? And if a department has systematic racism so deeply within that it has to be dismantled
completely? I would support that happening. Now, at the federal level, it's not going to be a good idea for the federal government to come in and say this department needs to be dismantled unless we have enough sufficient number of civil rights violations that it now is a federal level, a federal issue, because it's a constitutional rights violation. But in general, it is best for this to be left to communities to look like, what do you want? What do you I love that you have 757 because it's your actual immediate community. What does the 757 area code and the people living in, and even better, the communities within there, what do you want your policing and your first response to look like? And the best way to do that is to remove the federal government. So what I will say again, going back to qualified immunity, the thing that empowers bad policing and in turn punishes good policing is the fact that they're not held accountable. You literally cannot hold them accountable. We just had a situation where a federal judge detailed a case of a black man who was driving home to my state, South Carolina, and a police officer stopped him because he wanted to give him a hard time. He was a black man in a nice car. And so he pulled him over, and I want to say he gave him this excuse that it had something to do with, your license plate was obstructed. And the video shows clearly that it wasn't. I think it was license plate. Whatever it was, the video showed that it was a bogus reason to pull him over. Then he said, we got a call that said that you're transporting drugs, which was a lie. So the man, and I forget his name, the driver, agreed to having his car searched. So the cop starts ripping his car apart, searching it, like actually doing damage to the vehicle. When that didn't work, he brought a canine in and had the canine sniff the car, didn't find anything, left the guy on the side of the road with $5,000 of damage to his car. He had to put his car back together and go to the nearest, body shop or whatever. It turned out it was, I think, $4,800 in damage. When he went to sue the police department, that federal judge had to say, I have to give qualified immunity because that's my job and that's what the precedent is. But he gave the most scathing indictment of that officer in saying that I have to give you immunity, but immunity is not vindication. And you were wrong, and this is a problem, a systemic problem that's going on, and it's why qualified immunity needs to end. So you literally have judges saying qualified immunity needs to end, and until it ends, I have to keep giving you qualified immunity because that's my job. Qualified immunity dismantles the system that empowers police, and it empowers those communities to be able to take back their policing, because now they can sue the cops. And then they can go to the state and say, hey, listen, you want to stop getting sued? Here are the things we want. We want community review board. We want the state to decentralize how policing happens so that we can decide what our police department looks like. We want police officers to only come from our community instead of having them bust in from hours away where they don't feel any kind of connection to the community. We want these things to happen. And you may want only some of those things. That's up to y'all. That's up to your community to decide that. And that starts with them being held accountable and having a financial disincentive to continue the plan. They're never going to stop this unless it hurts their pocketbook. So we make it hurt their pocketbook, and now the policy.
Okay, so legalization of marijuana.
We're ending. We are legalizing.
Oh! Hey, Spike, I got a question for you. So, we've heard a lot of your statements on the police and dismantling their also reformation in the government. I just want to ask you about your tie today, and also how you feel about CNN boys, or the dreaded word Boogaloo boys, which I'm the Boogaloo boy. How do you feel about CNN boys?
Yeah, Revolution 2, Electric CNN. No, listen, the Boogaloo boys are doing an incredible service to make sure that, like I said before, peaceful protests remain peaceful. There is a mischaracterization.
Yes,
there are
sir.
many mischaracterizations
Yes, sir.
of people in your movement.
Yes, sir.
One is that you're a bunch of white nationalists,
Yep.
which is weird because I thought this was a Black Lives Matter rally, and yet
I know, right?
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
points.
So that we just debunked that there. And then the other misconception is that you're trying to pick a fight. And yet, there's a bunch of police officers here, and I haven't heard a single shot yet.
No.
So the movement has been very clear.
Yes, sir.
This is a deterrence. This is saying we have our rights, we have the right to defend ourselves, and we will defend it against anyone who tries to take it from us. Point blank, period. That's not a threat. That's not violence. That is
It's a
making.
promise of defense.
That is setting expectations.
Yes, sir.
If you infringe, you will regret it.
Yes, sir.
That is the purpose of the movement.
Hey, I respect that. And last question, how do you feel about our offer to put Joe Jorgensen on the debate stage? Because we've offered it. We've got teams put together that would gladly put Joe Jorgensen on the debate stage. And I spoke with your security man about eating after this. We're willing to pay for your dinner as well, and maybe talk if we can.
Okay.
But we're willing to put Joe Jorgensen on the debate stage. We're willing to give her an escort. Even if she's approved to be on the debate stage, we're still willing to escort her. How do you feel about that?
I personally have no problem with that. I would defer to her on what she wants to. Yeah. That's her body, her choice.
Obviously.
So I would defer to her on that. But I will say we're going. The CPD, the Commission on Presidential Debates, is scared to death of us being on that debate.
Because you would destroy both parties.
You put Joe Jorgensen between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, two men who can barely form a coherent sentence between them. Donald Trump, who he promised he's going to drain the swamp, and instead he became the king of the swamp creatures.
Yeah, he became the swamp.
He is the swamp. He's the king of the swamp.
It's a thing our forefathers warned us about.
He's exactly what they warned us about. A crony becoming the head of the thing. And then you have Joe Biden, who's behind every bad policy to come out of D.C. for the past 50 plus years when he's not busy making women and children uncomfortable in front of everyone. And you put between them Joe Jorgensen, who will just completely dismantle them and break down how they've created these problems and how our common sense libertarian solutions will fix it. It's a no-brainer. The American people will realize not only is voting libertarian not a vote thrown away, but it's the only way not to throw away your vote. Throwing your vote away is voting for the same people who show up every 4 years ago. Hey, it's me again. Yep. The guy who created all these problems and made them worse. But if you vote for me this time, I'm totally going to fix it. Guys, I'm totally going to fix it this time. And frankly, if you don't vote for me, you're going to get this guy that I work with every day to screw you over. So it's one of us, and you have to choose. And you have to choose which one of us is slightly less terrible. And the American people seeing that right in front of them in the debates will completely destroy that narrative. They are horrified.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'll end on this last question. Sorry, guys. How do you feel about pedophilia as far as the repercussions of that? Because that's something the movement wants to see absolute destruction of, because we're tired of seeing pedophilia prevalent in our government. We're tired of seeing people go to prison for 20 years on a drug charge, which you're talking about ending the war on drugs. Right. But then go to prison for pedophilia for 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, when really the death penalty should be for pedophilia. You should put pedophiles in a wood chipper. So let me ask you, how do you feel about the war on pedophilia, and how will your when Joe Jorgensen becomes president and you as vice president, how will y'all combat pedophilia, and how will you make the repercussions of pedophilia bigger?
So I get asked a lot, how will you combat pedophilia? The number one thing we do is we kick the pedophiles out of DC.
Yep.
We're seeing with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and all these things that are going on, we're seeing there's a lot more pedophiles than we thought there were, and they're in some incredible positions of power. And that actually kind of makes sense, because what is pedophilia but someone exerting their power over someone who can't defend themselves against it and who didn't consent to it, who can't consent to it? And what are the people in government doing to us every day? So it is just another version of that. It is the most disgusting version I can think of.
Wood chipper goes burp?
Yeah, exactly. Wood chipper goes burp. Listen, I'm against the death penalty. When I hear that pedophiles get killed in prison, you want to guess how many tears I shed over it?
None.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cohen. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Mr. Cohen. I've got a question, sir. Right? You're talking about qualified immunity, right? And that's supposed to somehow end the systemic racism in our black neighborhoods.
No, ending qualified immunity holds bad police accountable.
Right, but you understand that it's going to take 4, 8, 12 years to hold that cop accountable because police unions, all they do is just paddle along in the judicial system, right?
I think there will initially be some fighting, but after the first few major landmark cases where entire police departments had disbanded.
But again, you're talking 8, 10, 15 years for those landmark cases.
I don't think necessarily it's 8 to 10, 15 years, but
I mean, we're looking at 5 years on a police officer that was charged, down in Forts, I'm drawing a blank now. Ferguson, right? 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so you win qualified immunity, they got to wait 5 years to end the unconstitutional laws that are oppressing their rights.
Yeah, well, and again,
because they've got to go through that 5 years of suing the police department, suing the police union, and in the meantime, during that 5 years, they're still being oppressed, they're still being shot, they're still being arrested.
Well, and we use the federal government to go after people that are infringing upon the constitutional rights of the people. Let me be clear of that. I'm not saying
Okay,
that.
but how does the federal government?
Sir, you asked me a question. So, ending qualified immunity is one of many things that we will be doing. We will also be using the Department of Justice as a department of actual justice. The purpose of the Department of Justice originally was to deal with people in government that were infringing upon the rights of others, and then at some point it became this federal law enforcement agency that basically is the trickle down police brutality starting at the Fed. We will take it back to what its roots were, which is actually going after abusive officials and holding them responsible, including abusive police officers. So in addition to that, in ending qualified immunity, we also end those types of practices like no-knock raid. We end the mandatory minimum sentencing. We end the war on drugs. We end the militarization of the police, which is not just the military surplus equipment they get, but the training they get to go along with that equipment. That's something that isn't talked about a lot. We talk about the fact that, police departments have tanks and MRAPs and drones and all this other stuff why do they even have this? What we don't talk about is when they get that stuff, military contractors come in and train them in how to use it. So they're getting an increasingly militant, they're being trained by the same people who trained the military who's fighting enemy combatants overseas. And then with that training and the mindset that comes with it, they're then going into our communities and enforcing the laws. So the ways that you can combat this, it's a holistic approach. It's not just holding them accountable when they do abusive things. It's also dismantling the training and the equipment that they're getting that leads to that. It's also dismantling the laws that they're enforcing to reduce the number of interactions between the police and the public in the first place. And then it's putting the power back in the hands of communities to decide what they want their police departments to look like. And I will say again that when you see those first few landmark lawsuits that completely bankrupt entire police departments and put them out of existence, it's going to be the state capitals that are going to the community saying, okay, fine, here, you can have this, we can't afford it.
But the majority of those laws are state controlled. The federal government has no say over a lot of the state laws, right?
Not over the laws, unless, again, the law itself infringes upon constitutional rights. But
which there are thousands of laws that infringe on our constitutional rights,
and those
right?
things would get challenged in court.
But again, how long do they stay in court? I mean, we have Supreme Court stuff that's still been there for 12 years.
And I can appreciate that, but I don't think anyone could reasonably tell you that there is an instant solution to this, or even a quick or simple solution. What we can do is look at the problems that are being caused and how they're being caused and address those problems. And it might not happen the very second that those things get implemented. It can't happen. It's a systemic thing. It took decades and centuries to get to where we are now. And it could potentially take years to get to where we want to go. But if we're at least moving in the right direction and ending and reducing the harm in the meantime, or at least heading where we need to go. Listen, if anyone comes up to you, and I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
My name's Kurt Santini.
Kurt, if anyone comes up to you, Kurt, and says, I have a plan to end systemic racism and police brutality on day one, do not listen to them, because there is no such thing. So we have to look at this thing as a holistic approach. We have to look at the entire body of how this has happened. We have to look at the history of it. We have to look at what the policies and laws are that are in place. And then we end those things.
And then most of these guys will be dead by the time we get to that, right?
I don't think that's, I don't think that's.
No, I mean, you're talking decades on that kind of reform.
Not necessarily. I think, first of all, if we elect enough libertarians, it'll happen even more quickly than that.
But it needs to happen more on the state level as well, not just the federal.
Well, that's why we are fighting to get libertarians elected on the state level as well. We have people in the Virginia Libertarian Party. I've actually been here promoting down ballot libertarian candidates. I was in Manassas yesterday doing exactly that.
Do you have a governor candidate yet?
Do we have a governor candidate in Virginia? No, we don't have one in Virginia.
Not until next year.
What would you like to see out of a governor candidate?
In Virginia specifically?
Yes.
I would like to see a governor candidate that's going to do at the state level what we're doing at the federal level. That is dismantling oppressive and infringing policies at the state level.
So something like a Virginia constitutional revision, securing constitutional rights, getting rid of qualified immunity, setting term limits in the Constitution,
all of those things are things.
And then starting a study to remove those laws that are currently on the books that infringe on the rights of the people.
I support all of them. But that has to happen at the state level, like you said.
My name's Kurt Santini. I'm running for governor.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. All right. Well,
and everything I just said to you is what I stand for. Because I stand for these people right here. I feel their oppression. I know their oppression. And I don't like the idea of federal governments saying they're going to take care of it. Because the reality of it is when Joe gets elected, if she gets elected, she's got to fight all them other people that are already there. Look what's happening right now. We're divided between Democrat and Republican. In that division, nothing's getting done. What do you think it's going to be like with a libertarian against both of them? It's going to be very difficult to get anything done, if anything at all.
Well, at the executive level, not so much. At the legislative level, absolutely. But there's a lot of stuff that can happen at the federal executive level because Congress is so active.
How many libertarians do we currently have in Congress or something?
There's one right now. But again, at the executive level, if Joe gets into the White House, there's a tremendous number of things that she can do before we even say word number one to the legislature. Because for the past several decades, they've just been handing off their authority in the form of creating one regulatory agency after the next. So Joe going in can immediately start dismantling all of that.
I apologize for the questions. It was coming out to me like all this was going to happen so quick for them. And
no, of course not. No, there's. Well, I don't know about 10, 20 years, but I hope no one thinks I was saying this happens in a day or two. It happens. The policies can be changed in a matter of days, in a matter of weeks, but in terms of actual implementation, how it plays out, that can obviously take longer.
The last major Virginia constitutional revision was 1970s. It took 4 years for them to do that revision.
Oh, constitutional amendments about the hardest thing.
Right. Yeah. But that's the one thing that needs to be done the most at this point, right? We've had so many laws that have watered down our constitutional rights, just decade after decade, century after century at this point. And they just use those laws as precedent to create a new law. And then when we have division between Black Lives Matter and the Second Amendment movement and whatever other things that they can bring up, that division is meant to keep us away from the laws that they're creating. We're not looking at the laws that they're creating, we're looking at the division.
That's what I was just talking about. They keep fighting each other so we don't hurt each other.
I really appreciate answering my question. Thank you. Even with that change, he was saying, man, even BLM 757 said change may take 7 days, 5 years, or 7 centuries. Change
it's got to start.
We're going to be here. We got to be the ones to start it. Our ancestors help us get this far, so we got to be the ones to pass it on. But hopefully, our kids won't be fighting this fight no more. But we got to start somewhere. So we got to appreciate y'all coming out here and say giving us another choice. And like I said, it takes a lot to even put yourself out there for a candidate. Period. I mean, this people try to dig up and do everything except for.
Actually, listen. Yeah.
So we appreciate you coming. We're trying to get out here before sunset, so we ain't gonna shoot. So we're ready to go.
Whatever. I'm here. Yeah, I'm here listening to people.
After your question. Sure. I got a year before I graduated high school. I love the libertarian movement. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I love it. I like your ideas. I want to get more involved. How can I spread the message?
So there are 2 things that you can do. Actually, I guess 3 things that you can do even before you're out of high school. Is that you can sign up. Now, I'm trying to think of under 18, I don't know if you would need registration. And that I don't know. But here's what you can do. And the people in charge of that can tell you. If you go to Joe20, that's J, and by the way, it's anyone who wants to help. This is an open question for anyone who wants to help. If you go to Joe20, JO20.com, there's a volunteer form that you can fill out. We're building a grassroots army for human liberty, and we would love to have you join. Another thing you can do is join your state and local libertarian party affiliate. because that's where it's happening on the ground every single day in the grassroots. We have local and state LP affiliates today here helping us with this, and that's where things are happening at the grassroots level every single day, and they will be able to give you the tools and help to equip you to help push the message of liberty to your family and your friends and your loved ones and colleagues and your communities and neighborhoods and everything else. Again, because you're under 18, there may be limitations on what you can do. They would know what those limitations are far better than me and be able to still work and know what you can do. So, and thank you for your support. What was your name? Emmanuel. Emmanuel, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate your support. Thank you. Okay.
I see a lot of people that don't want to vote for Joe Biden, a lot of people that don't want to vote for Donald Trump. So I think we have a lot of people out here that might not realize that they may be libertarians.
Right.
What are you doing to increase your presence on social media? Because we don't necessarily need the mainstream media to get the message out in there.
Yeah, that's actually our main thrust has been, we've just been twofold. Number one is social media, and number two is getting in front of people. And so I've been to, I don't even remember how many now, Black Lives Matter protests. I've spoken to gun rights groups. I've spoken to people across the political spectrum, in person and online. Our social media game is on a completely different level than any other previous libertarian campaign. It is our main thrust. And then also now what we're doing is Joe's actually finishing up her leg of the bus tour, where she's going to communities across the country and meeting not just with the people that come out, you know, the supporters, but also trying to meet with different coalitions and groups in those local communities, so we leave a lasting impact there and plant seeds with people in those communities to let them know what it is we're pushing at the grassroots level. I'm going to be doing the same starting on Wednesday. I'm starting in Cincinnati, working my way through the western states until I end in Seattle, doing the same thing, going from city to city, meeting with supporters, people that are interested to hear what we have to say, and also meeting with local coalition groups and local media as well to get our message out there. We are not waiting for the mainstream media to come and get us. We're not even waiting for the I guess, alternative media to come and get us. We are putting our message out there front and center. Thank you. What's your name? Catherine, thank you for your question. I appreciate it.
I really feel like you need to start to do more.
That's my.
That's where we need to hit. Yeah, if you want a new choice, that's who's gonna want it the most.
That has been mainly what.
And you know, I think I've never heard of y'all, and I would like to hear more. So I'll look you up. Is there something online that we could actually start listening to what your views are? Like, is there what is the website or whatever?
Our website is joe20.com, jo20.com, and all of our social media is on there. I have a YouTube page where I answer almost every question that you can possibly ask a politician. If anyone here wants to visit my YouTube, if you look up Spike Cohen on YouTube, it has, and we break it down into little snippets where I've done in different interviews where I've been asked different questions, and I give, you know, kind of long form answers to each of those questions. So just going to the YouTube and probably answer pretty much almost any policy question that has been asked. There's a lot of stuff on there we're adding more every day.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I agree with you 100% that it is young people. It is. I'm an old millennial. I'm 38. It is the millennial and Gen Z generations that are more left behind than the current generations that are alive right now. They are experiencing way more acutely that the system that was set up is not just broken. It was made not for them. It was made against them. It was made to take from them the benefit of a relative handful of incredibly powerful and cynical and well-heeled political billionaire cronies who own the politicians that put these policies in place specifically to rob all of us. And it's the youth who don't already have that established generational wealth and finances that are realizing that we're all screwed at this point unless we change this. So I agree with you 100%. Thank you.
I have a quick question, sir. Since it directly applies to you, what would you tell the people that are hearing things such as voting third party is throwing your vote away?
Sorry, yeah, so, and I think I just mentioned this before, but throwing your vote away is voting for the same people who created the whole mess that led to everyone protesting in the first place. Democrats and Republicans, Republicans and Democrats, the Republican Party, who works together every single day to screw us all over, especially people of color, poor, and other marginalized communities, but really all of us. And so if I come up to you and I say, I know that I've created all the problems that you're facing right now, But if you don't vote for me, you're going to get this other guy over here that I work with every day to also make your life miserable. But if you vote for this other choice over here, who has had nothing to do with the harm that you're facing and is actually proposing ending all of that harm, you're throwing your vote away because you have to vote for either one of us. It's a con. It's gaslighting, and it's just it's an easily debunked lie. If everyone who is being presented as your only viable option are all of your enemies, or all of the people who have made your life so difficult to begin with and have created such infringements and oppression against you in the first place, then only voting for someone else would be the only way not to throw your vote away. Voting Republican and Democrat is throwing your vote away.
Well, so if people feel that voting for things such as libertarianism might be a waste, I understand what you're saying. Like everybody knows the two-party and the Republican. We all know they're in cahoots, all this other stuff. But how would you convince somebody that voting for a lesser popularity out of the two, how would you convince them that it's not throwing it away?
Because again, if the two, I guess, more popular parties are both terrible and are almost indiscernible from one each other. So like, if I don't assign a name or a party to a set of policies, and I say this politician did this, and they're all bad things, and based on what I said they did, you don't know if I'm talking about Donald Trump or Joe Biden, then it doesn't matter which of them wins. It doesn't matter if our party might not get as many votes, because if either the Republicans or Democrats win, you lose anyway. So that is throwing. It's actually worse than throwing your vote away. Throwing your vote away is writing nothing on a vote on a ballot and just throwing it in the trash. When you vote for your oppressors, you're actually voting against yourself. That's worse than throwing your vote away. Right. So it's worse than a waste. It's actually harm being done against yourself. So voting libertarian and voting third party is a vote against that system of harm that your other two choices are presenting. It is the only vote that isn't a waste.
So how do we, other than word of mouth, how are you and Ms. Jurgensen and all the other libertarians going about getting out there more? What do you think is appealing about your party other than screw the other guys?
That's a good question. So as I was saying before, we're doing a ton of social media stuff. We have viral videos that are coming out every day, every week. We are going on bus tours around the country, talking to communities like this all over the country. I will have visited by the time election day comes around. I will have visited just over 40 states and many places in those states. We're not just going to big cities. So like I was in Richmond today, but earlier today I was in Gore, Virginia, which is like up in the mountains. We're in communities large and small, speaking to people across the political spectrum, everyday Americans from every single walk of life, and we are taking our message directly to the people. And that's what others up and down the ballot, people running for Senate and Congress and everything else, are going through into their communities and doing it. Your question as to what is appealing about us, I invite you to go to lp.org/platform. You can actually read our entire platform. And our platform, the 10-second explanation of our platform is that you own yourself, and you own your life and your body, you own your labor, and you own your property. And the Republicans and Democrats work every single day to infringe upon your self-ownership and to oppress you and tell you what to do with your life and your body, and to even take your life and your body, and to take your property and to put you in a cage that they control you. And libertarians are on your side every single day fighting to end that system of harm, and we're the only ones doing it.
So do you feel like y'all have a fair shot when the big thing about it is mainly just doing whatever we can to get 45 out? Do y'all feel like that gives y'all an unfair shot to we're just going to vote for the other person that has the best chance to win?
No one but Republicans in fact, no one has a fair shot in elections. The Republican and Democrat parties have gamed the system so that if you are a Republican or Democrat, you are automatically on the ballot, and taxpayers, each one of you that are watching this that pay taxes, you actually are being forced to pay for Donald Trump and Joe Biden's presidential election campaign to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. But when I or any other third-party person for that same office, we don't get any money. We don't want your money, but we don't get any federal funding. We don't get any taxpayer money. What we get is we have to spend most of the year fighting to just even get on all 50 state ballots. So it's not a fair shake at all. but
Right.
we are spreading our message out here that if you are against Donald Trump, name the things that you don't like about Donald Trump. And I guarantee you, whether you're talking about a policy or whether you're talking about something he has said or something he has done, there is something as bad or equally bad as Joe Biden, and vice versa. If you're saying something you hate about Joe Biden,
Love,
you
bro.
say the exact same thing about Donald Trump. The only way that we're going to end this constant, ever worse choices for president is to show that we're not going to just keep picking from the same Republican candidates that they hand us, because we're going to keep getting worse and worse choices. Are y'all ready to take off? So vote
I
Libertarian
appreciate
because
you.
we're the only ones that don't suck. Thank you.
Hey, can I follow you for that video?
Yeah. My name's Styrofoam Ralph
What is it on?
on Facebook.
Facebook? Okay.
Hey, Rob, good questions, bro.
Oh, you already know.
No, check your cap out.
Appreciate you.
What is it?
Styro.
Phone?
Yep, that's me right there with the space.
All right, thank you.
Ain't no problem. Thank you.
I just don't like sitting around the citizens from the south side because Jay Cooley, my motherfucking keys, looking at shit happening around me and I can be out there and see what's going on.
Who just been touching?
Politics is needed. I feel like politics is needed, but there is no need for big government. I just feel strongly against that. I don't feel like there is any direct need for big government. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. This appears to be over. You trying to see what the circle hitting on? What happened to your sweater, man? Somebody snatched your shit, man. We about to see what's going down at the circle. It is now 7:48. Around 9 o'clock. There's supposed to be a special gathering downtown. I will be live for that. Make sure y'all definitely tune in. I have currently been live for the past 3 hours and 47 minutes. Lives cut off at 4 hours even. So, do y'all have any more Gatorade? I'd take one of those. Oh, it's a Deer Park. I'm a little sketched.
What's wrong with Deer Park?
You know, it's gonna do for right now. It's gonna do for. I appreciate it though. I have been live for
Keep blinking, Aziz, keep blinking.
Hey Kyrie, I'm with you though. I have been live for the past 3 hours and 50 minutes. All lives on Facebook are not permitted to exceed.
They started attacking peaceful protesters on Wacker in Michigan.
They just attacked some of our kids from ITP. We are here peacefully, but Mayor Lightfoot is over here protecting the part of downtown. She's over here protecting Trump Tower. We don't need this anymore.
We don't need this, so
These are
look.
our streets. We don't care about the rich. We're protecting our property. These
Yeah.
are our streets.
CPD just pepper sprayed and beat up our peaceful protesters with clubs on Wacker in Michigan. So please send press, please send allies, please send lawyers. You okay?
Loose.
Please send lawyers, everybody, to Wacker in Michigan. CPD just pepper sprayed everybody. Loose! Babe! So we're on Wacker in Michigan. They just pepper sprayed us. beat us with guns for no
01-1563,
reason,
or if you're ready to order,
whatsoever.
or go down.
It was a peaceful protest, and here it is. They got the feds out here. They pepper sprayed and beat up everybody with clubs for no apparent reason. We are here live on Wacker and Michigan. Peaceful attacks on peaceful protests are not what we are about. That is messed up. The fact that they just attacked a group of peaceful protesters with pepper spray and clubs, it's not okay. Please share the video and let them know.
Who's street?
Streets.
Who's street? Our street. Who's street? Our street. Who's street? Our street. Who's street? Our street. Who's fucking street? Our street.
They just pepper sprayed us on Wacker and Michigan. We are here on Wacker and Michigan. Send lawyers, send press, send allies. The National Guard working together with CPD just attacked a group.
In Overland Park 2 weeks ago, a young woman was dragged from the sidewalk, slammed to the ground by multiple Overland Park police officers. I was arrested while trying to organize legal observers. I was clearly marked as an attorney, and I was targeted first. And so while you're standing in line to get your food from the food truck, your loved one may have been the person that violated civilian rights, that chokeslammed a woman to the ground, that held innocent people at gunpoint, that profiled black people, that shot an unarmed teen in a moving car. The same people that come home and kiss their children and their wives at night, that sit at the same dinner table. Those are people that are committing atrocities against innocent people right here in Johnson County. And so when we're talking about no peace, that means until we get justice,
We won't have peace.
we get justice for taxpayers. There will be no picnics where you can enjoy your time. While I'm on bond, after being unlawfully arrested, you will have no backyard barbecues and peace. You are not going to be able to enjoy your parade.
Kiara, we need them to stay with us. We need them to stay with us. We need to stay as a group.
Police brutality right here in Johnson County. We are resisting your joy because the same people that you are celebrating have victimized the people they are sworn to protect and to serve. That's what we need. No justice, no peace. This is a non-violent protest, but it's still resisted. If you want to back the blue, then start holding your friends, your husbands, your brothers, your cousins, your sisters accountable for their unlawful, immoral, and unethical actions. If you want to back the police department, then start telling them that they have
Yeah.
If you want to back the police department, make sure they are upholding their obligation to protect and to serve everyone in Johnson County, not just the people that agree with them, not just the people on Joe Barbecue, but every single person in Johnson County.
Oh, my Baja Blast is here, y'all.
They're breaking the
Oh, yeah.
law.
We are going to continue to resist. And while your neighbors may think that we're terrorists, how many terrorists do you see that wear weird symbols? How many terrorists can you see have not attacked anyone, but only have responded to violence from the people that you're eating hot dogs next to? How can we be terrorists
Can you hold my drink?
And then baptize them in the Spirit. And then
Interaction with one of your friends.
Thank you.
In the Overland Park Police Department. All right. I'm seeing signs like back the blue and no defunding the police. I think it's preposterous that you expect me to put tax money into men that assaulted me.
That's right.
And because I was fighting for justice, I was targeted, I was snatched, I was thrown across the street onto the sidewalk and slammed onto the ground by at least 5 different people.
That's not right.
Deserves to be snatched off the sidewalk by your buddy, dragged across the street, and choke slammed. Are you supporting that?
It's not right.
Snatched and dragged and slammed into the ground? Am I not terrifying? My hands were bleeding, and instead of trying to get me medical treatment immediately, they were worried about which paddy wagon I was going to be in. I was transferred to 2 different cars that night.
That's not right.
A 5'4" unarmed woman was dragged by 5 of your friends across the street, slammed into the pavement. Is that the kind of honor that you're celebrating tonight? Is that the kind of service that you're holding a sign for? We have people that are afraid to get on the mic. But let me tell you about a man who is driving his legally registered and insured car in Johnson County.
Actually, I'm not gonna keep that there.
And a member, which Overland Park Police Department, who planted his friend in front of an apartment complex. And they said, do you know anyone that lives here?
Boo.
He was flipping off his cousin, and they tried to say that his cousin was a drug dealer. That ain't right. Because he was black, he could not afford to live in that apartment complex. That ain't right. And then after finding out, after being taken out of the car and given and abandoned their driver's license, they found out that the young man lived in the apartment complex. They did not give him a ticket because he had done nothing. But your friends, your family, pulled them over because they were black and treated them like they were criminals. Is that the kind of service and honor that you're holding a sign for?
And let's not forget about John Albers. That was Overland Park, folks.
Overland Park Police Department. Do you remember a teenager who was driving a car and you shot several rounds into the moving vehicle?
He wasn't even driving it. He was backing out of his driveway.
Is that the type of blue that you're backing? When we're talking about Black Lives Matter, all we're talking about is surviving the day from your friends and your family. Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Yes, ma'am.
Monsters that cut your children in at night are the people that
Excuse
terrorize
me.
citizens because of the color of their skin. Is that the music starts.
Hell yeah.
You know what? We're about to talk for our lives real quick.
What? No.
Okay.
I mean, I do, but I'm live streaming right now, and I don't think I can do both.
That they choke slam people, dancing to music, and wigs, and color glasses, and boas.
And heels, bitch.
And heels. All that. So I'm just hear some shout outs. Okay, so do we have a cordless mic? Yeah. Oh my god, are we gonna get some started? Okay, so we got cordless mic.
Hey everyone. The commercial music that they're playing makes it so I can't even turn their audio on. There isn't really much else going on. So I'm going to shut down this live feed. And in a little bit, we'll go back live again once we have more people marching and more stuff going on. I'm sure there's going to be stuff going on all night. But I'm going to get some food and stuff while we have some downtime. Please like and subscribe. And that way you'll be notified the next time we go live.